green, refreshed by Coca-Cola. My name's Amy Long, and I'm joined by some of iRacing's finest, Brandon Cattell, Michael Guerrilla, and Chris Overland. How are you doing, gentlemen?
I don't know if it's some of iRacing's finest, but we're definitely some gentlemen.
Speak for yourself, Cattell. Speak for yourself.
I mean, I don't tell many stories, I'm not going to lie. All right, we're headed into round 10 of the Coca-Cola iRacing series at the virtual Pocono Raceway to kick off the second half of the season. But before we get into the action on the track tonight, let's rewind to 4 weeks ago in round 9 at the virtual Charlotte Motor Speedway. Four-time eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing Series champion Ray Alfalla made a late race sprint. He did it a lot faster than I spit that out. Pass on Malik Ray to claim the win at the Coca-Cola 300. Check it out.
Pace car going to dive down to the safety of pit road, and we get set for the Coca-Cola 300 as we say, let's go racing at Charlotte. Cars are headed to pit road, so clearly a majority going to go, Tim, for the two stops, which is a little bit different than what we've seen in the past. Caution flag. This changes everything. Ryan Doucette told everybody else that his monitor went out. Loose are going to drop back up top. He's loose. Maines gets touched. He'll spin at a turn 4 and a huge wreck at lap 129.
Behind him, we got trouble. It's Mitchell DeYoung around.
It looks like Ashton Crowder was slowing to pit, and I don't know if he said it over the radio and Jimmy Mullis didn't hear him. Ray Alfalla, the 4-time champion, trying to steal it from Malik Ray, is still looking for his first win in this series. To the inside now, he's got the position of Malik Ray if he did not want to give the bottom up to the 51 Toyota. As Alfalla takes the lead at a turn 4, Ray Alfalla is back in victory lane and is the 9th different race winner in 9 races in 2021. Pace car going to dive down to
a veteran move for that guy in victory lane. And here are your driver playoff standings as they lie today. Chris, your thoughts on these drivers and how they're doing this season? Any surprises here?
Well, the biggest surprising thing that I'll say, Michael Guest is second in driver points. He has scored the second most points in the series behind, of course, Keegan Leahy. He is 9th in points, and there's a driver with a win, Ray Alfalla, sitting outside the top 20, ready to take that 9th position. Michael Guest might actually go up and take the points lead, not win a race, and not make the playoffs. That is sad. It's so sad, but it just goes to show that you're going to have to win a race to make it through to these playoffs.
That's a big point there, Chris. Yeah, that's a big point. But you got to look at some of these guys like Bob Bryant, Mitchell DeYoung. They're guys who have points right now that they definitely need more points. I mean, Bob is 14th, Mitchell 17th. They have 1 or 2 bad races. They're out of the top 20, and they're losing their playoff spot. I mean, there's a lot of variables and a lot of dominoes there that are about to fall, and it's Pocono tonight, and that's going to be the biggest variable. So it's going to be insane, Mike.
Yeah, this cut line is spicing up day by day, race by race. I mean, it's incredible the fact that Guest and Wilson, like as Chris mentioned, they've shown speed all year long, and they're on the cusp of getting towards that victory lane. So there might even come a chance tonight at Pocono, but we talked about it earlier. Ray Alfalla outside the top 20, so he's not eligible on that playoff list as you see right now. He's got almost a full race gap points-wise back to the top 20 cutoff. So we saw the determination from the 4-time champ last time out at Charlotte to get the win and get himself back into contention. He's still got a long way to go as it stands.
Yeah, he's got half a season to do it. All right, let's take a look at team standings before we begin that second half of the schedule. Michael, your thoughts here?
Well, I'm looking back at XSET and just the fact that they're kind of on the rebound. I mean, we talked about them a few weeks ago, and we saw them tumbling down the boards, falling back into likes of 2311, William Byron Esports, all those guys up at the top. I mean, we talked about them being on the downswing, but that run last time at Charlotte Motor Speedway, where we saw Kerwin and Luza both run in the top 5 consistently throughout the night, they might be on the upswing. And Pocono's pretty good track here for Kerwin, so don't be surprised if you see those two up towards the front tonight.
Yeah, and 23-11, I got to say, they've got a 30-point gap on the rest of the field, and Mitchell DeYoung is 17th in points. That just speaks to the absolute dominance of Keegan Leahy. If Mitchell could get on that same kind of path and start knocking off a couple top fives, a couple wins, these guys would be untouchable.
Yeah, I agree, Chris. And that's all because of Keegan. He's been starting up front this year a lot, and he's been able to stay up front because of that. And on the other side of the spectrum, Mode Motorsports lost four spots in the standings in the last couple races. So Jake Nichols, Matt Busa, they're in that danger zone of falling out of the top 10 of points right now. So they're looking to rebound after tonight for sure.
Definitely. And it's worth noting a change for Kligerman Sport. They are switching drivers. Isaac Gann is stepping away for personal reasons. Anthony Burrows is going to be taking his seat. However, they will be retaining all of their team points because it's based on the team and not the driver. But as you mentioned, every single race counts. So Brandon Cattell, your takeaways from the virtual Charlotte Motor Speedway.
Yeah, I touched on it a little bit earlier, Amy, but one of the biggest takeaways for Charlotte has to be, I guess, when you look at it, you see Ray Alfala. He is currently out of the top 20 in points right now. He's trying to make it back in. He is doing the best he can, obviously, but he's still on the outside looking in. He needs all these dominoes to fall to get back with a chance to even make the playoffs. Now, those dominoes are whether drivers with a win falling out of the top 20 in points, drivers not getting wins who haven't won already. It's so many variables, so many dominoes that have to fall in these coming weeks, and it's so exciting to see how this is going to play out. I mean, I cannot wait for this, and it's going to start here tonight at Pocono. One of these races in the next couple of weeks is really going to determine the playoffs, and it's going to be just amazing to watch.
Absolutely, and it could be tonight. Chris Overland, your thoughts on round 9?
Yeah, well, I'm going to say this. First things first, Parker, reach out to me, man. I could have been in that 77 car. But I'm just saying, or 44 at this point. The thing I want to talk about the most is the contrast between the series veterans and the series newcomers and the young guns. The Malik Ray versus the Ray Alfala, the Chris Shearburn versus the Vicente Salas. There are young guys coming up here, and they're battling some of the greatest of all time in sim racing. We've got some incredible rookies this year. We've talked about it multiple times. And then, of course, last week, Ray goes and he stomps them and lets them know that, hey, guys, this is still my show. So I'm excited to see this battle continue between the series youth and the veterans.
Absolutely. And Michael, your thoughts on the marathon of the season?
Well, looking back at it, it's not so much the fact that we've had the marathon of a race that we did at the Charlotte 300. It's the marathon between Charlotte and tonight's race at Pocono. I mean, we've been off for 3 weeks, which has been one of the longer stretches of breaks that we'll have throughout the 2021 Coke Series season. And it's going to be interesting to see who comes out on top tonight. I mean, these guys have had 3 weeks to prepare, and with these setup guys, all the time they can get is going to be all the better, because these guys have a 3-week turnaround for tonight's race at Pocono, and then right back to next week at Road America, they have 1 week. So, I mean, you go from having one of the longest stretches off during the season to one of the shortest ones where we have back-to-back race weeks. And it's really going to really test not only the setup preparation, but also the driver's preparation for tonight's race at Pocono.
Yeah, we'll see who put in those laps, too. Well, you guys aren't the only ones with thoughts on the Charlotte race. Let's take a listen to what the drivers had to say.
Drivers, start your engines!
Are you ready, Ethan?
I'm so ready, Casey.
If I catch you, I am on a mission.
I will not vacate the track for you. You will pass me.
I need to calm down, man. I'm sitting here shaking, just rage monkey.
Pace car gonna dive down to the safety of pit road and we get set for the Coca-Cola 300. Let's go racing at Charlotte. And Tim, we mentioned 50 to 60 is that magic number, and there we go. Cars are headed to pit road.
Yo, let's pit here.
At this time, but yeah.
Pitting.
Bunch bit ahead. We're looking at making 71, if not 72.
Let's wait a lap. I don't want to break in front of John.
10-4. Wait, one more lap. Sounds perfect.
The 17 was close there on pit road.
Yeah, that looked a little bit hot. We're going to have to make sure Steven Wilson isn't slowed down. He was doing 60 at the cone.
Up. Wow. No, it's not all good, Eddie. The race is over. I sped. My bad, guys.
I can't see.
Just go straight left. Lock it down. Go left.
I'm sorry, guys. My screen blacked out.
And a caution flag at lap 106. This changes everything.
Well, I think that works for us. We got 95 to go. Short fuel. Oh, pit lane's open? I'm screwed. That's it. That's our race.
3 wide to the inside. Ray in the battle for third. Leahy middle. Loose are gonna drop back up top. He's loose.
Check up, check.
And the wall.
That's race over.
Unbelievable.
I've got nothing nice to say.
Getting loose, getting into each other. Get low. Alright, we're past it. Woo! That was close. Yes, sir!
This is wrecking up top, checking up top. Low. Save it. Holy we're good.
At lap 163, that is not a full tank of fuel. Heartbreak for the 55. And a caution.
Oh my... Damn it! Did he call it? I didn't even hear him, bro.
And of course it's Jimmy Mullis. Oh my god.
I mean, you literally called it out going into 3.
Well, I'm done.
Watch this guy right in front of you. Okay, they're wrecking. Go high. Oh, shit.
The f was that? We're dead.
Someone didn't call it, yeah.
It is one.
Oh, that's so stupid.
Did you hear Crowder call out?
No,
okay, I didn't either. No one else did either.
Side by side with Ryan Luza to the restart box. Green flag in the air.
Here, kitty.
Go get him, baby.
Hell yeah.
Hey, the yellow dude.
All right, remember, don't force it down to the corners. Relax.
Okay.
Ray versus Ray up in front as they come out of corner number 4. Malik Ray looking for that first win. Ray Alfala looking for that first win in a while. Goes to the outside. Lap traffic with Brad Davies up ahead. They'll get by the 88. And now, where does Ray Alfala go to make the move on Malik Ray at a 2?
He's got more tire than me, dude, because of...
Yeah.
Boy.
New leader. 51. Come on, baby. White flag. Yes, sir. White flag. Come on, baby.
Calm the down. We've done this before.
Yeah! Woo!
I told you guys it was full send time.
Hell yeah! That's awesome!
Yeah, man.
Good job,
dude.
Awesome!
Yes. Good job, dude.
Woo!
Amazing. If
Man.
you've got nothing nice to say, don't say it at all. I like that.
Casey Tucker won this race, apparently, according to the reactions. That's Ray Alfala's crew chief, Casey Tucker.
Is it me, or does it sound like 4 times a little bit upset?
No, he's driving good. Man, it sounded like Jimmy Mullis was upset, though. Poor Jimmy,
dude.
man. He's had a bad year.
Yeah, poor Jimmy.
There was some parts where the spotters earned their money with that wreck avoidance, and then they just didn't earn their money when it came to that pit call. I mean, obviously everyone didn't hear it though.
Yeah.
Tell you who made their money. Yeah, who made their money is whoever designed Graham Boland's steering wheel, because he had it cranked and saved it. I've never seen anything like that. But thankfully, we aren't going to see anybody, wreck, slowing down and get on pit road tonight. At least I don't think so. Those pit barrels do stick out, but it's a wide racetrack.
Yeah, we shall see. But there's one more person that didn't get to weigh in on last week's or 4 weeks ago, Charlotte Motor Speedway's race. A long-awaited pole sitter interview from Charlotte. Keegan Leahy had something to say about this. But as the broadcast director promised, here is your 15 seconds of fame, Keegan.
I gotta get an interview too, so, well, I assume. Fighting and digging, bud, that's what we do. No interview. Oh, there we go. Delay it again. Where's my interview? Where the hell's my interview for getting pole?
They're keeping you on your toes as far as if you're going to get to talk about yourself.
Smash the field every week and they don't even let me brag about it.
Oh, man. I feel
Keegan,
bad
man.
for Keegan. They need to bring Bontempi. I think that's who that was. Matt
Yeah,
Bontempi.
that was Matt.
Hey, man.
It was.
We're going to interview Bontempi if Keegan gets the pole.
Yeah, there we go. There we go.
Drew sincerely apologized. And
Yeah.
to
Drew,
share that.
we're sure Drew means it.
Actually, we'll try to interview Denny next time, not Keegan.
Amazing. Well, we've been checking out what you guys are wheeling all season long. Thanks so much to everyone who's played along with us, shared photos of your sim rigs. Here's a look at more rigs for the archive here. Let's see what we got to look at.
Whoa.
150
The
kilo
floor monitor.
fame.
150 kilo fame.
That's a
like
really
it.
good basement setup.
I like the seat. And here's Brandon. Dame Brandon. Got a good rig.
I mean, I like the chair. That's a nice choice.
Minimalistic, I like it.
Is that a toy car down there?
Oh,
Whoa.
wow.
Whoa. We've
Jared
seen some.
Carter.
This is
That
incredible.
lighting does it for me.
It's like the car you wanted, Amy.
Purple, yeah, on the bottom, yeah.
I know.
Oh my
Extreme.
gosh. They only showed us the names, and I thought this was going to be one of the most crazy ones, and I was not wrong.
I am loving that poster in the background. The poster is great.
Yeah, the Jimmy Johnson in the background, yeah.
Patrick Smith, your TV is too large for sim racing.
No, this guy is doing it right. Look at how
The chair is comfortable.
I wonder
yeah,
how much
bet.
force feedback he's put through that wheel, considering the desk he's got.
I feel like there needs to be some nachos off to the side. That's all.
I love that wall art. That wall art.
Yeah, that's
is
really
amazing.
nice.
Can't even really see the rig, but I like his
Like kind of
room.
tucked away. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Oh man, Shane. I don't think he's old enough to have this iRacing account.
He's got the button box, triple monitors, and the one up top.
Wheel. Look at that.
Hey, we might be seeing the next guy to beat Bobby Zielinski. This guy.
This looks like my starting setup on a laptop. I mean, this is the exact
Wow.
same thing. That's crazy.
I mean, that's not bad. Wow, Nathan Lyon.
Nathan Lyon.
He's told me before he races on a chair. I didn't realize it was that type of chair. That must hurt after.
Roush, do you not see what you're doing to your driver?
Hey, in
Send
real
him a
life,
rig.
drivers want to be comfortable, Chris. So if he's comfortable, let him do his thing, man.
I don't know if he's comfortable. I don't think it's possible.
I wouldn't be. No.
I think it's great. I love it that everyone wants to be a part of Countdown to Green too. So tweet us a picture of your rig. We want to show them off during the next show. Use the hashtag eNASCAR and tag iRacing and NASCAR. Now, there's a lot of thought that goes into making sure these drivers are looking sharp out there before they even turn these engines over. We've seen some incredible paint schemes. Let's highlight some of that hard work and creativity, starting with Michael, your pick for the season for coolest paint scheme.
You know, I hate to be recency biased, but it's got to be Zach Novak from last time out the Charlotte 300 for Richmond Raceway Esports. I mean, look at this thing. It looks just like a Ryan Newman throwback to when he ran at Stewart Haas Racing, and I'm a sucker for digital camo on IndyCar. I mean, that makes anything look better, and I mean, that car is just stunning, especially with the graphics on the car. I mean, shout out to those guys at Richmond Raceway. Those guys always produce some fire paint schemes.
Hello, Newman.
Yeah, that does look... That looks amazing. All right, Chris, who do you think looks the sharpest this season?
Well, I'm going to go with one of our race winners this year, Bob Bryant, with the black, white, and blue E-Racer paint scheme. Parker, Landon Castle, love what they do with the E-Racer stuff. That paint scheme is sharp. It's got the blue and white, jagged, whatever they are. It just looks good. It looks clean. Only thing I would have done differently, I would have made some blue rims.
Yeah, it does look really clean. You're absolutely right about that. It looks just fast sitting there.
And they were fast with that paint scheme too. It was not a shame. It was up there.
All right, and last but certainly not least, Brandon. Let's take a look at your pick.
So the cool thing about this paint scheme, Bobby Zielinski's fellow competitor, Jake Nichols, actually painted this car for him. Look at the beautiful chrome there. VRS for Latart Esports, Bobby Zielinski's car. Just a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful paint scheme. That 83 looks really sharp on there. Just a cool. I don't really like a lot of red cars, but that one definitely falls in there. It's really cool, man.
Yeah, there was a time. There was a time where 90% of the field in these eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing Series races were red paint schemes, but you know,
it
now
just
it's looking a little better.
It reminds me of Dale Jr. back in the day, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that chrome though. I think it looks sharp. It's got to blind the competition, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely.
Look
All
at my
right.
hair in the rear view.
We are headed out to the tricky triangle, so we figured we'd have a little bit of fun with it. We asked drivers to give us 3 statements, and 2 of them are truths, 1 of them is a lie. You 3 beautiful minds have to determine the truths and the lie.
Oh,
so
no.
Here we go, and we're going to start off with Kerwin. Let's see. What are his statements?
What's up? This is Casey Kerwin, driver of the number 38 exit Ford Mustang. And this is 2 truths and a lie. Number 1, I did a commercial with Tony Stewart in 2012. Number 2, I have the back bumper off of Mike Skinner's truck from when he flipped the Charlotte in 2009. And number 3, I put 3 different types of products in my hair every single day. Good luck.
This is actually a tough one.
Well, I know which one of these is actually the lie, I think, because we were in that commercial with Tony Stewart, were we not?
I think so. But I honestly, Chris,
I'm gonna go with the hair product.
Because
It's the hair. The hair is the lie.
same. It's always the same.
Yeah, it's always the bowl cut.
All right, you're right. It is hair product.
Yes.
Oh, there you go.
Let's go.
All right, on to the next.
We got Matt Busa coming up.
Matt Busa, driver of the number 75, Mode Media House Ford Mustang. 2 truths and 1 lie. Which is the lie? Is it, this checkered flag I won at Denny Hamlin's house by winning a bowling tournament? Or, I profited $17,000 on Dogecoin? Or, I've participated in 3 world championships in iRacing?
Man, I have no idea about
Now
Matt
I know the
Busa.
checkered flag's a truth because I remember seeing that all
We
the
were
time.
there.
Yep.
I don't know. What do you guys think?
I'm gonna
go with Dogecoin.
Yeah, Doge, all the way.
Man,
It was his second statement. All right. Let's hear from Ashton
we're right
Crowder.
again.
Yep.
What's up, guys? I'm Ashton Crowder, driver of the number 1 Nutrien Ag Solutions Toyota Camry, and this is 2 truths and a lie. My longest drive is 330 yards. Malik Ray could beat me in a fight, and Justin Bieber has been my idol since I was 9.
Wow, he's calling out a fellow competitor.
Malik could definitely beat him in a fight. I'm gonna go with Justin Bieber.
He's got the Bieber haircut, so.
I'm going with yeah.
Nope. He doesn't think Malik can beat him in a fight. That's
What? He's out of his mind.
I know. All right. Let's hear from Ray Alfalla.
Hey guys, Ray Alfalla here, driver of the 51 Rowdy Energy Camry. And intermediate tracks are my favorite. My Mario Kart character growing up was Luigi, and I'm bilingual.
Well, this is unfair for
you
us.
guys
We hang
know
out
that,
with Ray
yeah.
too much.
Yeah,
Go ahead, Michael.
I go to that same gym in the background with him. So.
Yeah, go ahead, Michael. You pick for us.
It's definitely the first statement because I know he's bilingual and I know the other statement as well too. So it's definitely the first one.
All right.
You sound really confident in that. However, his Mario Kart driver is not Luigi.
Wow. Okay. I bet you it's Yoshi.
You think? All right, Keegan Leahy. Let's hear what he has.
Hey guys, I'm Keegan Leahy. See if you can pick out the lie. I have a meteorology degree. My cat's named after a Formula 1 driver. And I drive a brand new Toyota Camry.
Huh. I think his cat's named
Just a
after a
cat.
Formula. No. I think his cat probably named his cat Senna. I'm gonna go with the Camry. I don't think it's new. It's
I don't think
old.
it's new
I'll say the
either.
cat.
All right, it's the third one. His third, the
I knew it!
window.
Somebody
I
get
swept.
this man a new car.
Nice.
I swept him.
Chris knows our drivers. I'm going to have to say it. And Chris also knows Pocono Raceway pretty well. He's captured some checkered flags there in the past. So we're going to head to him for some track analysis.
This is my one opportunity to actually boast my success. I have one Pro Series win here in 2013. This is Pocono Raceway. As you can see, it's shaped like a triangle. Turn 1 is 14 degrees of banking, modeled after the Trenton Speedway in New Jersey. Turn 2, modeled after my favorite racetrack, the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. And turn 3, the Milwaukee Mile. 14, 8, and 6 degrees of banking. Track opened in 1971. We've seen some fantastic finishes here in the eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing Series. My favorite being when Steve Sheehan and Nick Ottinger got into it, and my boy John Adams got the victory. I'm sure we all remember that. And that's pretty much all we got. We're going to see some good racing tonight here, boys.
Yeah, I mean, quicker analysis because we cut off one turn. So there you go. That's pretty much how that works. So how do we think that everyone's going to do tonight? For that, let's go to Brandon. Who do you think is going to take the checkers this evening?
I mean, you cannot pick Ray Alfala.
Wait, look at the points,
the
guys.
The champ is back. Yeah, I know. The points. I'm close, guys. I'm back. So Ray Alfala, I think he goes and steals the win again tonight. I heard he's got a good long run car from his crew chief Boyd Hogan. The man's gonna get it tonight.
You know, I was getting a little bit of flack from our producing crew here about Cattell passing me after being so far behind. I'll tell you one thing, Cattell, you're not getting any further away. I'm picking Ray Alfala as well, the mailman. It goes against everything I believe in. I said we'd have 10 different winners to start the season, but Ray Alfala, you know, takes after Tony Stewart. He gets good in these summer months. I'm not going to call him smoke. I'm going to call him fire because he's spreading. It's about time. You can't slow him down once he gets going like this, guys.
All right, Mike.
You know, I love the analogies there, Chris. I mean, my picks, it's already up there. I mean, I'll take it. Jimmy Mullis. He's got a good track history when it comes to Pocono Raceway, and he's he's been to Victory Lane before. He's been there, done that, so he understands what it's like to get it done around Pocono Raceway. And I guess I'm trying to get some separation from you guys. I'm tired of losing some points. I had a 53-point lead at one point. Now it's down to single digits against both you guys.
We got the
I need to do something, and Jimmy Mullis is going to be the guy.
Yeah, we all picked Toyotas.
Yeah.
I like it. I like it. So does that mean we could also see a new victor in Victory Lane?
Yeah, Chris, you don't want to keep to the trend. I'll keep to the trend for you. There you go.
All right. Well, I mean, I've been wrong before. I just, you know, I'm going to pick the guy who's winning the race. That's all I'm going to do.
And Chris, I didn't know if you wanted to revisit the fact that you know Pocono pretty dang well.
Oh, I do. I won here one time, almost a decade ago.
Almost a decade ago. Really looking forward to tonight's race, round of 10. Again, we're back. It was 4 weeks off, but we're back. eNASCAR, iRacing, Coca-Cola Series this week, and we've got next week to look forward to as well. So thanks so much for everyone for tuning in. Remember, tweet us a picture of your sim rig. We want to show them off during next week's show. Use the hashtag eNASCAR and tag iRacing and NASCAR. Now, before we go, let's catch up with Evan Pasoko and Tim Terry in the booth. They're going to be broadcasting during the race. How you doing, guys?
Oh, not these guys.
We're good. Thanks for leading us through it with Countdown to Green. And I'll tell you what, based on what the drivers have been saying on social media over the course of the last few days, Tim, I don't know about you, but I'm really pumped for this race. Not only is it exciting that we could see a 10th different winner, but this could be one of the wildest Pocono races we've seen in some time.
Evan, I like the word unique because this racetrack is unique. The races that we've seen here in the past are unique, and I think we're getting ready to see another one. But Chris Overland's one win, it had to come up in the pre-race show, didn't it, Evan? Were you around at that time?
He was talking about it in our entire pre-race meeting,
All
so
right.
I have to guess he talked about it.
Y'all better cut my mic.
Amazing. Well, we'll get to Evan and Tim just a little bit later, but for Countdown to Green, everyone behind the camera that brings this show to life, for Brandon Cattell, Chris Overland, Michael Guerrilla, I'm Amy Long. Thanks so much for joining us here. Countdown to Green, refreshed by Coca-Cola. Get ready, fans. Round 10 of the 2021 eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing Series is just around the corner. Thanks so much for tuning in, and we will see you next week. Really hope everyone enjoys the race.
This Coca-Cola Zero Sugar tastes mighty delicious.
Come on, buddy.
But
if you keep lying like this, you'll be a puppet forever.
It's the honest truth.
You're right. It's delicious.
I never lie.
I am chaos in a good way. I am everything you want to see at once. Coming at you like a comet on fire. I am bumping, banging, and battling to the finish.
It is all on the line.
Because if you can conquer this series, you can conquer anything.
That was some intense racing.
I am the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series. I am NASCAR.
The Earnhardt name has been involved in every generation of NASCAR race cars in history, from the earliest days of the Grand National Series to the modern version. And today, I'm proud to be here to usher in the next generation of NASCAR Cup Series cars. The next gen cars are here, and you don't need to wait any longer to get behind the wheel. Drive the future of NASCAR right now on iRacing.
Start your engine!
This is my time with it though. This is my time to be way at the top. Me and my guys gon' pay out the block. I don't look like whoa. Time's right, and I know they see us walking in the limelight. Promise you won't wanna watch like a sci-fi. My guys are high risers, high tide. Might drown if you come to my side. I pledge allegiance for lifetime. My squad connected like Wi-Fi. We grind and you see the highlights. This my life. It ain't a game now. Me and you, we ain't the same now. Lions coming out to play now. Opposition out the way now. Out of the way. You wasn't invited. Say you come to play. I dare you to try it. You don't wanna try me. Don't step up to my team. Yeah, out of the way. Yeah, yeah. Out of the way. Yeah, yeah. Out of the way.
The road to $300,000 hits double digits, where tonight from the virtual Pocono Raceway, we say good evening, sim racing fans, and welcome to round 10 of the 2021 eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing Series. And happy that you're with us, as you are every Tuesday night here on the iRacing Sports Network and streaming live at eNASCAR.com. Alongside Tim Terry, my name is Evan Pasoko. Tim, we are 9 for 9 to start the year, but a tricky challenge at 10 could shake things up. I think we're in store for a wild night of racing in the Poconos.
Yeah, I think we are too, Evan. When you look at this, you have 9 races, 9 different winners. Here at Pocono, 8 races, 8 different winners. So if I'm putting the odds on, if I'm throwing anything on, the trends say we're going to have a different winner at Pocono and a different winner this season, but who knows?
Well, it's going to be big implications as well, right? If we do exceed that number of 10, right? 10 different playoff spots, 10 different winners, then not only are there going to be guys high in the points without wins concerned, there's going to be race winners concerned as well. So start of the year, the focus was 1 win. If I've only got 1 win and I'm in the teens in the points, I'm starting to sweat.
And if I'm Ray Alfala, who won our last race a couple of weeks ago, I'm outside the top 20 bubble, so I have to work my way up. It's 36 points between himself and getting into the top 20 to be able to even use his win to get into the playoffs. So many storylines in the middle of this stretch. They had a nice break. I hope they're ready to get back to action.
It's time to make the dash to the playoffs. Let's get this one underway by going trackside, handing things off to Music Knox Recordings and BBR Music Group recording artist Tim Montana for the most famous words in motorsports.
Ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages, this is Tim Montana, your grand marshal tonight for the Coke Series. I am so excited to be here. We're going to go fast. We're going to go loud. Put your seatbelts on, and drivers, start your engines.
I don't know about you, Tim. I'm ready to run through a brick wall. Let's do this thing. Go trackside, take a look at our Coca-Cola starting grid, and Nick Ottinger is on for the first time this season, and the 15th time in his career. He'll lead the front row alongside Brett Davies. Michael Conti, Bobby Zelensky will double up at row number 2 with Keegan Leahy and Bob Bryant in 5th and 6th. Vicente Salas, Logan Clamp at 7 and 8, Mitchell DeYoung, and Stephen Wilson, your top 10.
Looking back there at Owen Casey Kerwin in the next row. Ashton Crowder, Dylan Duvall occupy row number 7. Chris Shearburn, Graham Boland. There's a driver on the outside looking in when it comes to those points trying to get in. Ryan Luza, Blake Reynolds was quick in practice. Femi Olat and Ray Alfala, the winner from Charlotte.
Kane Cook, Malik Ray, the next duo, ahead of John Gorlinski and Garrett Maines, and then Ryan Doucette, P25. To his outside, you'll find Jake Nichols, Anthony Burrows at his Cup Series debut. More on that later on this evening, alongside Jake Matheson, Nathan Lyon, and Alan Bowes through P30.
And through the field, Blade Witt, Michael Guest, Derek Justice, Jimmy Mullis, Zach Nichols, Corey Vincent, Zach Novak, Taylor Hurst, Brian Schoenberg, and Matt Busa scratch on the field.
Those last 3 decided not to qualify, so we know it's going to be a tricky evening of racing. Tim, we'll take a look at here at the minute with all the onboard cameras we have of these drivers, but just talk us through this one with our ASUS race analysis.
Yeah, this one is just about as tricky as it is on track as it is off of the racetrack. 90 laps here this evening. Pit road speed 55 miles an hour. The pit lane delta 25 seconds. 4 tire sets available. 30 to 35 laps on the fuel window. And the last time we were here was 2019. Our winner was Jimmy Mullis.
Didn't compete here last time out, but you mentioned the fun fact that we've had a different race winner in all 8 trips to Pocono. We've had a different race winner in all 9 races so far to start this 2021 campaign. So it has been one of the best, if not most memorable seasons in eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing Series history. Tim, and we talk about Nick Ottinger bringing us to the green flag this evening. You're dialed into the 25.
Well, Nick, you got the great starting position starting up front. What do you got for these boys tonight? Can we bring home this victory?
I definitely believe our Logitech G team can compete tonight. It's a tough battle, no matter who's out front. It's going to be hard to keep the lead, to be frank with you. I mean, it's just, I think a lot of people are going to be on top of each other just based on practice races we did. You know, I'm excited, at least lead the field to green to see how it is, with clean air. That's a big, proponent for us, just trying to keep clean air with our Logitech G team, and just looking to get our team into, pretty much a good starting point for the season here. I like to get a win because that's pretty much all we have to do is just get a win. There's no really battling for points out here anymore. So 9 different winners, and I mean, you got to kind of bank on you're going to have another at least 1 or 2 more winners. So just got to do our best we can with this team, and hopefully we're doing burnouts at the end.
Well, we wish you all the best. Go get them, bud.
Thank you, brother.
That's Nick Ottinger going to lead this field to green, and Evan, he's come close here a couple of times to go into victory lane at Pocono. We'll see if the 25 can get there. JP, what do you got down on the road?
When it comes to Michael Conti, he described his first half of the season as be hit or miss. He feels there is still more speed to find compared to some other Chevys. But at the moment, their focus, he feels, is needing to be finding a package that he's confident with. Everyone with the brake feels recharged and ready to get after tonight's race here at Pocono.
Due to be an exciting one, Justin will continue to keep tabs with you down on the pit lane as the strategy in this race shakes out. But the lights are out on top of the iRacing pace car. Going to begin this time. The field in the hands of Nick Ottinger, looking for his champion. Can you do it tonight? The tricky triangle. Pace car off and in. We're happy that you're with us to the iRacing Sports Network. Let's go racing at Pocono. Ottinger the advantage into one. Look at Davies. All kinds of sideways with his teammate Conti in the fight for second.
Nick said these restarts are going to be wild, and I think we're getting ready to see the start of this one be a little bit wild, Evan. As you look behind, 2 and 3 wide, fanning out. It's all behind Nick Ottinger. Clean air is king now as they run by through 2 and 3 and complete this first lap. They've got to get some clean air first. They're still side by side for second.
You finally, Conti the advantage on the bottom. He clears his teammate Zelensky's 4 and Salas up 2 spots early into the 5 spot. But this front straightaway at Pocono has seen him fan him out wide plenty of times in NASCAR Cup Series racing. You will see a lot of that here this evening. The draft is going to this race look more like a Daytona race than a Pocono one. Getting separation going to be tricky. Look at Garrett Lowe. He'll take 2-step though for the bottom of the racetrack up top. The number 23 Mitchell DeYoung can't get in line. All of this from outside of the top 8. Still 2 and 3 wide off to the tunnel turn.
Yeah, Lowe and DeYoung were battling for that position, and they still continue to do so. Look at this mess back here. Ryan Doucette's in the middle. That's probably not a place you want to be. You got the 24 of Nichols there inside. I think Jake Matheson's back here as well. You got the 9 of Mike Guest, who's had a phenomenal season point-wise that hasn't got that victory yet. Ray Alfala storming towards the front of the field. There's a lot of storylines here mid-pack, and they're all trying to get in front.
And they're all trying to make moves early, which is why a bloodbath in the middle of the field there is nobody wants to take it easy. Everybody wants to get package for much of the evening. But as most of them stay 2 by 2, you can pick out a also working on the inside. He'll tuck in line just behind the Britannic Graham Bolin. Side into the corner with the 11 of Malik Ray. Different look for the Steel Series Ford machine in turn 2.
Yeah, that thing is pretty sharp, Evan. The 11 on the outside of Malik Ray trying to get that 1 spot on Ray Alfalla, the 21, or the 16 checked out of Gorlinski, trying to bring it to the front of the field for Wood Brothers. And all you can do right now is try to, maybe stay off your competitors a little bit, give yourself a little bit of room, because the start was wild. And now, Evan, through 3 laps, you've got some breathing room, at least up in front. You can kind of see them starting to get single file, but there's some drivers back here that want to go. And speaking about single file up in front, not the case. Here comes the 83.
Well, and single file and separation are 2 different things, right, Tim? You see these top 12 or so now have single filed off down turn number 2, but talked with him. Difficult to hold these guys off, to maintain that track position, and have to fight to hold instead of not having it and have to work hard. Is it a challenge? But it's a good position to be in.
And you look at the 83 of Bobby Zielinski, still trying to look and take that peek to the inside. And Evan, when you look at the 83 this season, it's kind of been an up and down year. You have to Dakota as one of those racetracks that we thought Bobby was going to go to victory lane. Ended up being Mitchell DeYoung. We go into Road America next week, but Bobby wants to get one of those wins on the oval to try to lock himself into the playoffs. He's on the outside looking in when it comes to points, if we have to use a couple of those positions for points. So try to get that as we get ready to ride on board with that driver, Mitchell DeYoung, currently in 10th. He fell back a little bit earlier. So we go see the 1 of Crowder go to the inside of the 21 of Garrett Lowe. Still middle of the pack, still trying to find their way a little bit closer towards the front of the field and battle up front. But for the most part, these drivers have kind of got a little bit of breathing room, got single file, and now can start to log their way potentially towards what would be the first pit stop of the evening. And Evan, I believe this race is going to be a 2-stop strategy. We saw in the Azus race analysis this was going to be 30 to 35 laps. Have a feeling that JP is going to be busy down there on pit road. We check in with him as the 1 car slides way up the racetrack in turn 3. He's going to lose a couple of spots here, I think.
Yeah, Ashton Crowder's been working hard just on the doorstep of the top 10 to maintain that positioning, and he and Casey Kerwin just checking it on. He dive to the inside up the road. It is Mitchell DeYoung's number 23 on the inside of Clampett.
From the wide that we saw in these first opening laps, it looks like these drivers have really found it as one goes to the inside up near the front. Those were the ARM teammates of Conti and Davies, and they continue to battle in behind Nick Ottinger. Ottinger has had a couple of very close calls here when it comes to this Pocono Raceway, has come close to getting that victory, has that 25 up in front, and he needs to try to take away that victory and get himself into the point picture as we come by to complete lap number 7. Mitchell DeYoung works to the inside as he battles with the 97 of Logan Clampett, 2 winners already this season, and they will get that battle subsided. The 23 will move up 1 spot. Continues to snake around this Pocono race, single file. A couple of drivers trying to poke out and maybe pick a position or 2. Vicente Salas kind of saw him take that look to the inside of Bob Zielinski, but nothing doing there as work around on lap number 8. And these drivers have, I think, found a rhythm and found a groove. And that was the one thing that we've seen on trends before at this racetrack at Pocono Raceway, Evan, where you have 2019, we had 1 caution. We've had some races before where there's been 6, 7, 8 cautions here at Pocono Raceway, so it looks like, and I don't want to jinx it, I'll touch some wood here, I think these guys have found a groove.
For you. You would like to think that when you have a green flag run at the start that you're going to be in a position for this race to go green, but it is never a one-size-fits-all way when you can compare one race to another, and especially when you have cars this close to one another, super tricky to tell how that's going to play out. But, I mean, your top 15 cars are in one You can't really get him down the backstretch here. Pulls about a lane down to the bottom just to break that draft a little. 2-3.
And you look at these top 15, and you mentioned there's really no sense of urgency right now as they continue to run single file, and they poke out a line, maybe get some air to the grills of these race cars, but there's really no sense of urgency. You look back to the middle of the pack, you start to see some drivers pick off some positions, but no pressure up here for Ottinger. Brad Davies gets a little bit close down the long front straightaway going down into corner number 1. He's got the top 4 in behind him, does Nick Ottinger. Davies, Michael Conti, the 2 JRM teammates in behind. Bobby Zielinski looking to make a statement this evening. And Vicente Salas, the rookie in this series, has already gone to victory lane, trying to pick up one more win here and really punch his ticket into the playoffs. He's already got one, looking for our first repeat winner. It could be the 55 as he runs in position number 5. And in behind, Keegan Leahy trying to get into the top 5, the 32 car for 23-11. They've had a pretty good season so far and looking to add to their point lead, as it looks like, speaking of teammates, we're going to have a side-by-side battle, maybe for position number 2, as Conti looked underneath his teammate for a moment, Brad Davies, but couldn't get there as we come by this time and complete 10 of the 90 laps here this evening for the eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing Series at Pocono. It looks like these drivers are also trying to search around a little bit and try to find another groove, at least through the last corner. Started to see some drivers flirt with a second groove compared to that inside line. So as this race goes on, this racetrack's going to rubber up. You're going to start to see some drivers search a little bit and work their way around and try to find a little bit of a grip and maybe try to find a way around some of those drivers that are locked in to the line. You see Brad Davies kind of step up the racetrack a little bit. Michael Conti down to that yellow line. Nick Ottinger kind of flirting in between the two as they come up out of turn number 3. And they snake down and draft down that front straightaway. 11 laps completed. Continues to be all Nick Ottinger. Look at the run, though, that Brad Davies gets down to the inside of the axe number 88 for JRM. Going to take the lead away. First lead change of the evening, and it's going to go to the number 88 of Brad Davies. Leaves his teammate back there in position number 3 with Nick Ottinger stuck in the middle. And just like that, Ottinger comes back to the inside. The Logitech number 25 for William Byron Esports going to try to take the lead back one more time. Davies didn't lead the lap, going to try to get back here and at least lead one lap of this one and kind of stop a streak of Nick Ottinger, trying to beat him to the line. And comes that number 8 of Michael Conti, giving him another little bit of a push as they go through corner number 3. They'll come up this time. Continues to be the JRM cars now up in front. Nick Ottinger going to slide back to position number 3, the 83 of Bob Zielinski, the 55 of Vicente Salas, right in behind and waiting to make a move. And the top 10 or so continue to be single file. Some drivers trying to pick their way through the front of this field, but easier said than done as Brad Davies leads the field. It's a Junior Motorsports 1-2 as they work down the back. You see the back half of the top 10. There's Mitchell DeYoung in the DraftKings number 23 for 23-11. And behind Garrett Lowe, there's a driver that's had a really up and down season. The 21 of Garrett Lowe looking to kind of turn around his luck. And we are going to head over to our friend James Pike, and James is going to catch up with Tim Montana.
I got the chance to speak with Tim Montana, who gave the command to fire engines earlier this season. Tim, we heard you were a really big motorsports fan. So how did you get involved in motorsports and in racing in the first place?
I grew up in Montana, Butte, hometown of Evel Knievel. So fascination with motorcycles came on early. Always like driving stuff really fast and going crazy, and built ramps in my yard, jumping on 4-wheelers, ATVs, and later in life, through Evel Knievel days, ended up meeting Travis Pastrana and becoming good buddies with him. And I went to Strongland several times. And then recently I just graduated Jerkfish Drift School out of Snoqualmie, Washington. So I learned how to race the Subarus, which was super awesome. And yeah, just go fast, go hard, be loud.
Cool story there, no question, Tim Terry. And always cool to have many a musician come out and support racing. Always a lot of fun when we get musicians around.
Absolutely it is, and love the fans of motorsports from the music industry as we continue to see some great racing up here, James. The 97 of Logan Clampett on the screen in behind. Mitchell DeYoung trying to maybe play a little bit of defense. He's got Ashton Crowder to the inside. Mitchell's had a couple of moments here this evening, and looks like he's having one more as he's drifting away in the one. Crowder going to take one more spot.
Just really tough, I think, when you get pinched down on that inside lane. We've seen it already over the first few laps here that it's really hard to carry momentum off corner exit. And, very easy, especially when these drivers are as bunched up as they are, to get freight train down to the bottom. You'll see 1, 2, 3 drivers roll past you, depending on which straightaway you're stuck on the inside on.
They continue to go side by side, just outside the top 10. The top 10 kind of have it figured out. And as I say that, there goes 3 wide as the 23 of DeYoung goes to the inside of the 38 of Kerwin to pick up one more spot. And it looks like Mitchell's got a handful in this DraftKings number 23, going to lose and gain a couple of spots as this event goes on. But I think out of the calmness, James, have seen up in front, I think the 23 has probably had his handful more than the rest up here.
Something sort of the eye of the storm, I think you're thinking maybe just about, which seems about right. You look around that 23, and it seems like there have been more side-by-side battles with his car, and at least his position on the racetrack right there outside of the top 10 than some of the other folks in this field.
I'm interested to see when we catch up with JP about what we just saw on the screen. Early pit stops, it's number 15, James. They can go 30 to 35 laps on the duel, so maybe they're anticipating something that we don't know or know when we come off the hop, because I would think it would be a 2-stop race, and I think layman's terms, it's a 90-lap race. You come down like 30-ish, 60-ish, and call it a day, but some strategy maybe being played out here.
I have to believe that you go off of anything besides that 2-stop strategy, that you might be looking for a caution to come at some point, get yourself a little bit of cycles so that you can potentially stay out and take advantage of things. As we see junior motorsports drivers there, Brad Davies, Michael Conti, nose to tail, leading this train along Pond Straight.
I like the idea of forward thinking about potentially getting a caution, but we like this package to kind of what we saw at Daytona. They're drafting a little bit, kind of that pack racing mentality, but we've seen a lot of those big track super speedway races go caution free in the past in this eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing series. So I'm kind of intrigued on the strategy of Ray Alfala and a few others, and Ray was running that mid-pack, maybe trying to pick up positions if a caution does come out, but I'm kind of intrigued right now, I guess. By the way, this is all playing out as we work lap number 18.
I think that's part, but the other part of it, and something that I think of when I think back of old Pocono races, both in the sim and in real life, this is a track that can very easily become a fuel mileage circuit, and this is a race that can become a fuel mileage race, especially with the way you get into these corners. It's very easy to grab the clutch and roll in there and save a little bit of fuel lap on lap. So we may see some drivers, especially if you might be towards the back of the field, try and run with the clutch a little bit more, use it to get out of the throttle, and maybe stretch these runs a little bit longer to put themselves on cycle and maybe catch a lucky break later in the race.
If you can't move ahead on the racetrack, try to do it on pit road and get your strategy in that way. And I have a feeling that that's maybe what some of these drivers are trying to do as we complete lap number 18. For more information on the schedule, standings, and how to become a driver in this series, log on to iRacing.com/eNASCAR today. And James, I keep going back to the Chris Leone media guide that he had on there at the start of the year. So much information about the drivers, about the series, about the history of this eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing series. One-stop shop for everything that you need for this eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing series can be found at iRacing.com/eNASCAR. As Brad Davies continues to lead this field around, he's been around the block a couple of times when it comes to this series, and great to see one of the veterans of this one up front. And for more information on how to start your iRacing career today, be sure to log on to iRacing.com. And James, I know you've had the wheel out. You've tried some new pieces of content. It's been a busy 3 or 4 weeks since we've been on the air the last time with this eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing series.
Yeah, I had a whole new build and a whole bunch of content come out on the NASCAR side. We had National Super Speedway release, got the chance to turn a few laps around there and have a little bit of fun, but something for everyone in this new build, I think, and lots of fun to be had, whether or not you are an oval driver or a road racer.
There's the 33 of Taylor's coming off of pit road, and We keep talking every week, James, about the paint schemes on these race cars and the liveries on these race cars. I like 33. I especially like the hood, the front of this 33 car. It's sharp. It stands out. It's got Grizzly all over it. And he's trying a little bit of a shorter stop compared to that 30-30 that we kept mentioning a little bit earlier. But off turn 3, we've got more cars coming down onto pit road from the top 10 by the looks of it. Michael Conti flashing those. There's Bobby Zielinski down on pit road. The virtual racing school drivers coming down along with the 32 of Keegan Leahy, Mitchell DeYoung, Chris Shearburn, and the 2 of Maines.
So coming in on 20, you think they'd be able to stretch it to lap 50 and then lap 80. And if you get a few yellows in there, maybe you get a chance to stretch it all the way to 90, perhaps?
Do you split it into 3 at this point? I don't know if that's the stretch, or maybe they're looking at some strategy. Maybe the tires are quick. We've seen 2 and 3 stop strategies play out here before. As we see another side-to-side battle as these drivers get ready to do some pit stops and get back on there. There's another veteran of this series, and John Gorlinski. Is we've got a battle for the lead and a pass for the lead between the 2 teammates. WR1 Sim Chassis, number 8 of Michael Conti, going to go back up to the top of the board. He is one of those winners that has won here before, James, and is also won when it comes to this season. So Michael Conti looking to break 2 trends here this evening.
And from the way that was executed entering turn 3, I almost wonder if that might have been planned between the 2 Junior Motorsports drivers, just to try and see if you can get one out in front of the other. You know, you're going to burn a little bit more fuel if you're leading a train like this. So if you sit behind somebody, you get the chance to maybe even out the fuel numbers between the 8 and the 88 and make it a little bit easier for them to synchronize their pit stops.
As you continue to see them lead this field, and those 2 JRM teammates along with Nick have pretty much controlled this race. Vicente Salas and Bobby Zielinski kind of hanging out in the top 5 for most of it. Bobby coming on pit road to get service to his race car, so going to move a couple of the drivers up in, or at least trying to battle for the top 5 as they come off at turn number 3. They will complete 22. Some of these drivers will come down onto pit road. It's led by Graham Boland in the 10. Look at get down to pit road speed. Some of them I think were close there.
Be curious to see if we get any speeding penalties of that, but I see Femi Olot coming in for service. Looks like you've got a few others behind too. One of the set machines in for service as well. Interesting to see this so early on and before lap 30, like you said, Tim.
And some drivers still staying out on this racetrack and potentially sticking to their strategies, and I think that's what you have to do. It's early to say that you've got your bet. You have to lay in it when it comes to strategy, but if you think big picture and this thing goes green, you almost have to have it planned out from lap number 1 and have those strategies for these crews in their back pocket. They come off at turn number 3 this time. Does Conti decide to come down? I think he's staying out, but he's got plenty of friends coming down, including Steven Wilson in behind, leading the pack down in the 17.
In the front of it, Ashton Crowder there, and Casey Kerwin for X-Set and his Ford Mustang down pit road. And again, just handfuls of people sliding into their boxes to get fuel and tires for the first time.
Brad Davies way up the racetrack, and it may allow Ottinger to get down to the inside, but he's going to slam the door. Vicentalis right in behind him as well, and they continue to battle here and stay out on the racetrack, maybe extend this first stint, as a lot of these drivers have now come down and got service to their race cars as you ride on board with the Logitech number 25 of Nick Ottinger. He's got a good view of the battle in front of him between the 2 teammates.
Interesting to note here, it's about half the field that's already come down the road and half the field that has not. So we may see 2 sets of strategies in that sense. I wonder if this may pan out a little bit like the Auto Club races. We see Ottinger give a little bump to Brad Davies, but where we might see comers and goers depending on its strategy, and we might see people cycle from the lead and then back in the middle of the pack, back forward, depending on where they are with their strategy.
And you know what? It's moved some of the drivers that might not have had a great qualifying effort into the top 10. Guys like Jimmy Mullis, who you have to believe is going to be one of those guys to watch here this evening in the 46. This is the pack of drivers move. How about the 47 car, Brian Schoenberg, on your screen? Trying to put something together here. When you think of pit strategy, James, I have to think the 47 is one of those drivers that comes to mind, because Brian Schoenberg always tries to get everything at his race car. He's due for another good run in this series.
If there's one driver that I think would be most likely to try an alternate pit strategy, Schoenberg absolutely is the one. We've seen it do it before, and we've seen him try and pull it off on big tracks like this. Michigan last year, he tried to go on an alternate strategy. It didn't quite pan out for him, but no shocker if the JTG Doherty driver decides to maybe stay out. Maybe he's the last one to come down pit road, perhaps.
And you know what? He's a very personable driver as well. He's been involved in the series for a while, and one of those drivers, we look at the onboards throughout the night, and Brian is one of those drivers that is up on the wheel every single time, and he doesn't have any relaxation, I guess is probably the easiest way to describe it, James. And he's done it for a while as we see another onboard shot looking up ahead. That is Dylan Duval, the driver from Halifax, Nova Scotia, as he looks to better his effort. He's in the top 10, qualified 14th, so not a bad race so far for the driver of the 41, but sticking to strategy, we're on lap number 27. We should see these guys, I would think, down in maybe the next 5 laps or so.
You think at this point, if you're going to stay out this slow, there's not much point in trying to short pit by 2 or 3 laps unless you feel like that marginal undercut will get you maybe the car length or 2 you need to separate yourself from everybody else there. But for most of this group, you'd figure they're likely due within the next handful of laps or so.
Oh, here it is. This is Brian Schoenberg right here, and you can see him. He's focused. He's up on the wheel. He's almost got the chin on the top of the wheel. And if he gets into trouble later tonight, you're going to see the elbows fly. He's up on the wheel. That's what I love about Brian Schoenberg. See the hand crossed on the other side? He's got a different driving style than probably the other 39 drivers in this field, James. Love to see Brian Schoenberg in this field. And speaking about different driving styles, let's look at Logan. He looks a little calmer.
How about a complete contrast between Schoenberg and Clampett? Schoenberg right up on top of the wheel, basically face buried there in the center of it, and Clampett a little bit more relaxed by nature, just hanging out there and waiting to see whether or not he can get a run.
And here's a driver that's already come down pit road. Bobby Zielinski currently scored in 20th. Clean air in front of him, and not a whole lot of traffic, a little bit up the road a little bit, and is that a smile that I see? We haven't seen that smile in a couple of weeks, and a little bit of a focus and trying to saw on that wheel. Looks like he has a handful with the 83 car.
Looks like he's also got a Formula-style rim. That's the first thing I noticed. And we've heard drivers talk about how Pocono is a little bit more like a road course than lots of the ovals on this surface. A little bit more like what you'd see with some of the street circuits and the road courses as we see the leaders come in. Here's Brad Davies, Vicente Salas, and the 21 machine of Garrett Lowe.
I'm intrigued as to why the 8 car of Michael Conti didn't get called down pit road on the same lap as his teammate and as of Nick Ottinger. And usually when you're racing around each other, you kind of force each other's hands. There is Keegan Leahy, driver of the 2311 number 32 car, and he's got that focus again, and he's got some traffic to deal with right now as he's got Bobby Z in front of him, and they try to make a pass on a couple cars.
Different strategies here, different pit stops. Zielinski and Leahy have 5 lap fresher tires than Ray Alfala and Jake Nichols, who are running the high line there. As we go back to your leader, Michael Conti, who still paces this field ahead of Nick Ottinger, Bob Bryan, and the 97 machine for William Byron Esports and Logan Clampett.
Yeah, the field that we had even 5 laps ago up here has thinned out, and talk about strategy. There's Bob Bryant. There's the buzzword right there, the 77, running in position number 3 with 2 familiar drivers in sim racing ahead of him. Great trio up there, and you add the number 97 of Clampett. You see the last pit stop lap on the ticker up top, and that first line is kind of a little bit empty, James.
Just a hair for these folks, but it's also an indicator that we should see them very, very soon. We're just waiting, I think, hold our breath as to when we'll see this group of about 5 or 6 cars coming, and then where they land when they come back off of pit road is here they all come, the leaders on pit road for service, but where do they land when they come back out? That's the big question.
This is splitting it up. This is the completion of lap number 30 as the field comes by. This is the drivers that have already come down pit road on the right-hand side. The leaders are on your left-hand side as they get ready to complete their stop. So we'll see where these drivers all shake out. And which strategy is going to work, but these guys are coming with a head of steam, and the others that just came down pit road are still sitting on pit road. You'll see it here on the blimp shot.
Zelensky and company clearing everybody and jumping around all of the folks who just came down pit road, save for the three who have yet to pit. Brian Schoenberg, Zach Nichols, and Matt Busa. So Zelensky, your net leader, if we go flag racing and the three who have yet to come down pit road follow suit and make their way for service next few laps or so.
You would have to think these drivers would kind of have the hands forced, but run it till it's dry, at least at this point, and then we see two-ish different strategies by the looks of this, the way it is playing out. But you look at that third place number up there, that's the 75 of Matt Busa. Matt Busa started dead last and up to third, and we'll see what he can do in just a moment. We are going to step away for just a few moments. We'll be back with more action from Pocono. You are watching the eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing Series.
This Coca-Cola Zero Sugar tastes mighty delicious.
Come on, buddy.
But
If you keep lying like this, you'll be a puppet forever.
It's the honest truth.
You're right. It's delicious.
I never lie.
I am a driver with a dream. And part of that dream is making all the doubters believe that my name belongs here. I may be new to some, but I am not to be taken lightly.
Oh, and now they're really going at it. Yeah, they are.
Because if you let your guard down, I will rise above. I am the NASCAR Xfinity Series. I am NASCAR.
Coverage of tonight's eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRace Series race is presented by Coca-Cola, the official refreshment of eNASCAR. And by DoorDash, proud sponsor of the 2311 racing team. And exciting racing coming up here in the next couple of days, next couple of weeks, in fact, with the eNASCAR International Series getting ready to get kicked off, and it gets kicked off tomorrow. Excited for this short series. International drivers coming in and doing some road racing with the Xfinity Series cars. They will begin at Brands Hatch. That is tomorrow, 6 p.m. Eastern Time, and you can watch it on enascar.com/live. Be sure to be over there. That is going to be a great race to catch, along with the other two that will follow it on consecutive Wednesday evenings. And we're back to racing at Pocono, still under the green flag. It's been a cycle of green flag pit stops. Brian Schoenberg still leads, but let's get some sights and sounds of this racetrack as we ride on board with 2311's Mitchell DeYoung, and this is the DoorDash On Board. As we continue to work around this Pocono Raceway, Mitchell DeYoung currently in 6th place, and as you can see, he's got 2 cars right ahead of him trying to break in to that top 5. And James, Brian Schoenberg has not come down pit road. We said that the fuel window would be around 35 laps, but Brian is pushing it to the outer limits and even past, because we're working lap number 37, and those trio that we saw before the break still out on the racetrack.
Looking off the rear deck lid of Brian Schoenberg, it is just him and Zach Nichols. You may see Matt Bussa pop into the frame just a little bit there, but Schoenberg and Nichols in a class of their own trying to stretch this as far as they possibly can, and who knows how long they could go at this point. I didn't necessarily think they'd get much past 35 laps. They've already gone about 2 or 3 to where I thought the very limit of these strategies would be tonight.
As they go down into corner number 1, you look at the starting positions of these 3 drivers, 39th, 35th, 40th. They had to do something to try to get track position, and I think that's the audible. I think that's the call that they made. Now, they do run it dry of fuel, and there is no caution, James. I don't think it really works in their favor, but see how this all shakes out. If they get a caution here fairly soon, they might luck in to something. But good to see Brian Schoenberg up in front. Good to see Zach Nichols, the rookie, in this one for Williams, up in position number 2. They put on a pretty good show here, battling the last few laps for the lead.
Could be interesting here if they keep on going. Well, never mind. Here we go. Here come your leaders. Here comes the 47. Here comes the 29. We'll see if Matt Bussa does the same. But at least for now, it's 1st and 2nd on the racetrack coming in for service, working their way towards lap 39.
And Matt Bussa from dead last on the grid up to position number 1. Matt Bussa will come by and lead that lap, and he's been clutching. You can tell that he's saved on fuel, and James, we'll ride on board here. I don't think he can make 45, but we'll see what happens here. Let's ride on board with him. Yeah, there you go. You can hear him try to get everything that he can and try to clutch that car and get everything that he can, every little ounce of fuel out of that thing to go as long as he can and stay up in front. JP, what are these guys saying on pit road?
Well, when it comes to the team of Matt Bussa, they were going to attempt a 1-stop, but it's going to be tight right now because they feel losing the draft could have hurt them for that call. So keep that in mind for what they're trying to do when it comes to saving gas.
We've seen a lot of 2 different strategies in these races, James. I can't remember the last time we saw 3 or seen 3 different pit strategies in one race. And there is Matt Bussa way up in front of the 17 of Stephen Wilson.
You say way, but it isn't necessarily all that much. Only about 3 seconds between the 75 and the 17, and behind them, look at this battle. Vicente Salas, the 21 of Garrett Lowe there. We've got some of the McLaren Shadow machines all fighting for position through the tunnel turn.
The McLaren Shadow teammates were ones I kind of had circled coming in here this evening because Blake Reynolds has been quick in practice, hasn't really got the breaks that he's wanted this season, James. And you look at Alan Bowes, he's a former winner here at this racetrack. So 2 names that I kind of had circled as potential drivers to become the 10th different winner as many races this season, but I don't think right now they've got some work to do. And here comes the big green egg, the number 9 of Michael Guest. Great season so far. He's missing one thing. He's missing the win. When you look at the point standings, James, he's 2nd. When you look at all those drivers that have won that are in the top 20, he sits 9th.
Shows you how much wins make a difference in this point system, but there's no denying the consistency that Michael Guest has had. I almost feel like it's been a renewed season for him. I don't know if he's quite had the pace the last few years, but Michael Guest has been really, really solid throughout this 2021 campaign up to this point.
Yeah, there's 2 drivers that started out in this series and a young age, and looking at Michael Conti, went on to win that championship and continues to be one of the veterans of this series, and he's still got some age on him to gain. So Conti battles with Garrett Maines. There's Nick Otter, the leader of the most laps here so far this evening, and they are trying to get their way in front of the field. But James, with this package, it may be a little easier said than done in the dirty air.
A we know how much dirtier throws you off. I think if I'm somewhere in the middle of this pack, I'm trying to race the folks that came in on the same lap as I did. And you've got pockets of people, because we saw how things spread out as we get another look at Matt Bussa. That it seemed like there were a handful, about 4 or 5 cars that would come in, every 1 lap, 2 lap, 3 laps, 4 laps as the field continues to reel Matt Bussa in. And I feel like that's the easiest way to break this up if you're in pack, is just focus on the drivers who came in on your lap and make sure you're leading the group of drivers that came in when you did.
You can cue the Jaws theme because the field is catching Matt Bussa. They are lined up and getting ready to make a move. And James, I would think because the field is in behind and they're so close, it's less than a second now between first and second. If you're Matt Bussa and you got anything left in the tank, would you get behind and draft and try to save the maybe 1 lap that you need before you come down into pit road?
If you're Bussa, I think you're trying to fight to maintain the lead as much as you can before you come down pit road. He's got about 1.5 laps before he hits his magic number of lap 45 if he is trying to one-stop this race. So he'll try and fight, but with old tires and with the fuel saving, I don't know how much of a fight he's going to be able to put up as Stephen Wilson looks outside.
And there goes that 17 to the upside, and the Mode Media House number 75 of Bussa to the inside. Does he take the opportunity to come down here? He is going to come down into pit road to get service. So not exactly halfway in this race, but he's going to come down and get service at the position of 43 when he loses the lead. There's the focus and an opportunity to kind of take a breath and take a breather. And speaking about that, here's a battle for the lead. It's Bobby Zielinski in the 83, going to go to the top of the board. And Mitchell DeYoung, who was fighting for 6th when we looked at that DoorDash onboard, is now fighting for 2nd. Keegan Leahy got close to the wall there.
Leahy nearly clipped the fence. Here comes Stephen Wilson battling back to try and get Bobby Zielinski. This is not only your group of leaders, but the group of drivers who came in about 20 or so laps ago. So I don't know if we call this the A strat or the B strat, Tim Terry, but amongst the drivers that are on the alternate strategy that isn't necessarily the 2-stop that we figured coming into this, these are the folks that are leading that battle.
And it's not the single file pack that we've really seen before. We're starting to see these guys get racing and getting down to business. There is the 8 of Michael Conti on your screen. Kane Cook in there as well in the Fistful of Bourbon, number 15. Beautiful looking paint job on that race car. And in behind, the Nick Ottinger battling with the McLaren Shadow teammates as he tries to get himself back a little bit closer towards the front of the field. And Malik Ray, another beautiful scheme on that race car this week, the Steel Series number 11 for Space Station, and he leads this little pack right now, but they are hungry and behind him.
Good. You see those McLaren Shadow drivers up there on the high line trying to roll the momentum corner exit and work together, but I got some stiff competition down to their inside in the form of the 97 machine of Logan Clampett. Looks like you've got that might just be the 41 machine of Dylan Duvall, also racing the McLaren Shadow drivers, working their way down the front stretch.
Great battle here as Dylan Duvall tries to move up one more position and kind of get out of the McLaren Shadow sandwich that he is currently in at this point. Speaking of sandwich, 3 wide as the 32 of Keegan Leahy. He's kind of the meat in the sandwich. The 21 almost gets into him with Garrett Lowe. That was a close call for those two, and Ashton Crowder just along for the ride on the outside, trying to roll the top and get away from what he can in behind him and beside him. But there's the 32 to the inside as we have completed half of the laps here this evening. We are halfway home in round number 10 for the eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing Series at Pocono as Keegan Leahy tries to fend off the 21 of Lowe to the outside and tries to pick up one more spot on the one of Crowder in front of him. There goes Conti to the outside.
How about Michael Conti with the fresh tires there, going through the middle to make the move and get the spot. You can move Conti up into the top 10 for the first time since he came down pit road, and that 8 machine looks very, very quick. He's already closed down that gap. Will be from him to Ashton Crowder about maybe a car length, half at best.
Yeah, a little bit of a power move to get by, and here comes Nick Ottinger in the 25 trying to do the same and trying to pick up one more position, getting a little bit closer to the front of the field where Bobby Zielinski and Steve Wilson run. And you have to think right now, James, with those drivers that maybe shortened a little bit early, you may be starting to think about another pit stop with the way all this strategy works. Let's ride on board with the 18 car here, though, of Femi Olad. And there's a driver that's worked his way up towards the front of the field. He's been back and forth, and he's in a close battle with Mitchell DeYoung. This is the battle for third.
good battle here for Femi, who I feel like he's been very quiet but very solid in his rookie season. We've seen a lot of him on the service, and Femi, not necessarily the flashiest of drivers, but he seems to find a way to sneak his way into some really, really strong finishes. And what a run this would be if he could get a top 5 here at Pocono, one of his best runs of the season, if it holds out the rest of the way. But of course, still a lot of racing to go.
Yeah, he ran up front at Charlotte earlier this season in our last round of this series. Started 19th, has had to do some work to get towards the front of the field, currently sitting in position number 3, and he's got some drivers in front of him that are on the move. Graham Boland in the 10, who used to drive that number 18 car, and it seems like those drivers that get in for that rookie season into that 18 car seem to turn out into fairly good drivers. As we get another look, there's Casey Kerwin as he battles with the 21 at Garrett Lowe. This is just inside the top 10.
Got friends to his left, friends to his right. There's Michael Conti to his inside. Oh, big move there from Conti to slide up in front of the 38 and shut the door. But that's what you have to do to maintain track position and or gain it here at Pocono. A lot of chatter amongst the drivers that you have to take advantage of every gap that you can get, just because the margins are so thin and it's so easy to lose momentum if you don't slide up in front of somebody to complete pass the way Conti just did.
You have to set yourself up for success as these drivers fan out down the straightaway and look to pick up one more spot. There's Nick Ottinger on your screen with the 38 of Kerwin to the outside. And Ottinger, for most of this run, is chasing Michael Conti. For the opening laps, it was the roles reversed until just prior to that pit stop, where Conti and Brad Davies took advantage and got up out in front of that number 25. But Nick Ottinger looking fairly calm, cool, and collected here so far in this race as he drives in behind that WR1 Sim Chassis number 8.
Of note here, as we watch some of these battles, those drivers who are on that, maybe call it a 3-stop strategy, as we run on board with Bob Bryant for Blinkerman Sport, getting around the inside of Ashton Crowder. But some of these drivers, like Ashton, who came in about 25, 26 laps ago, going to need to come down pit road within the next few laps. So that's everybody within the top 4 at least. Zielinski, Wilson, Ola, and Boland amongst those that we should expect down pit road soon, and a few more beyond that as well.
Differing pit strategies throughout this event are going to shake this field up, and you see the 77 on your screen of Bob Bryant. We saw that on board, James, and he's still got the gnome back there, trying to keep him calm, cool, and collected, and right now having a great run turned in this number 77, just knocking on the door of a top 10 run as they fan out almost 3 wide ahead of him.
Lots of racing there right by the edge of that turn 3 exit, which can snap up and bite you, especially if you're 2-3 wide. That corner, of course, designed after the Milwaukee Mile, so very, very flat, very tough to get power down when you want to. But things like that wall can snap up on you, and if we get some tight racing later on in the event, as these drivers work their way towards the finish, wouldn't totally be shocked if we see somebody bounce off the fence at that point of the racetrack in particular.
You see the 18 of Femiola trying to pick up a position and maybe trying to fend off Michael Conti here. Conti works to the inside of this battle. That is the battle for position number 6. And 25 of Nick Ottinger continues to work his way and carve his way back towards the front. Great shot there of your leaders with Bobby Zielinski leading this field around. And we would expect some of these drivers down on pit road, as you met. Oh, there's a little contact between the 17 of Stephen Wilson, the 55 of Vicente Salas, the 2 rookies in this series, getting a little physical there at a turn 3.
Trying to see if there's any damage to the 17 machine. Don't see any issues yet for Stephen Wilson, and we'll see just how tough he's racing, but looks very, very focused, maybe a little bit more relaxed. We saw him race from his dorm room earlier this year when the spring semester was in session. Now he's back home for the summer and gets to focus a little bit more in the comfort of his usual surroundings.
Did he just blow a kiss? Is that what that was? Was that to you, James? That must have been the I'm on TV phase.
But I saw the sly grin there, so I think that might be a little bit more of an indicator.
And he kind of took the sigh of relief there too, as he was battling. Got beside Vicente, had that little bit of a rub or a little set two together with that number 55. Kind of had that sigh of relief, and now he's going forward. He's looking to the inside of Bobby Zielinski. This is the battle for the lead, and it might not be a battle for long because Stephen Wilson is going to slide that car to the front.
This is intriguing. I think being the leader of this group is going to matter a lot because these drivers are all going to come down pit road in the next handful of laps or so for their second stop of the evening. And I think you want to be that first car in, although Zelensky's not making it easy. I saw Steven Wilson get no less than 2 taps down the Long Pond straight that time by.
Talk about rookies. Obviously, we documented Vicente's in, but the 17 of Steven Wilson has been so consistent this season in his rookie year, and to do that, all the pressure that you have in year number 1 and put together those finishes, that's great. But now I think the bar is kind of raised a little bit, knowing that Vicente took that Space Station gaming car to victory lane. If you're that 17, I think the pressure's on you. And speaking of pressure, he's got a lot of it from Bobby Zelensky. As we starting to see some cars on pit road, Keegan Leahy and Ashton Crowder are going to pop the cork on this round of pit stops as we've got a battle for the lead.
So they come down for service. Meanwhile, big slide there from Vicente Salas to keep Steven Wilson at bay, and that might give the opportunity for Garrett Lowe to get to the inside of both of them and maybe take over second in the tunnel turn.
Drivers moving around and swapping positions. It was Wilson up in front. Now it's back to Zelensky, and now the 21 of Garrett Lowe takes a look to the inside. We've seen some speed out of Garrett Lowe this season. I don't think we've seen the speed that we were accustomed to seeing in 2020, but I think this may, after this summer break or this spring break that we just had, this may be a turning point for this Wood Brothers team.
Garrett Lowe had that strong run in the spring of last year where it seemed like every race he was rattling off a P2 finish as Missile Dion comes down pit road for service, and then didn't quite have the speed the rest of the year, Tim.
As these drivers start to come down pit road, green flag pit stops, let's enjoy the sights and sounds, and let's go full throttle. Absolutely phenomenal job by the production crew and the camera crew to bring us the sights and the sounds, the buffet for the senses per se, James, on that full throttle. And we've seen some pit stops. We've seen some drivers change some positions, and the top three are now different. It's Conti, Ottinger, and Clampett, though they are used to running near the front. And speaking of that, hello, they are down on pit road.
Here comes everyone. This is a just about full reset of the field, save for maybe a handful of drivers, but that's about 10 to 15 cars coming in for service this time.
Everybody coming down to get service that was in that front pack. The 11 overshoots his box. McBray has to back up, and he's going to lose a little bit of time. But how about the Richmond Raceway Esports number 90, Zach Novak? Haven't talked a lot about him this evening, but great to see the Virginias for Racing Lovers number 90 up in front of this field, leading some laps here and putting those colors at the front. I know it's been an up and down season, a season kind of that he wants to forget for Zach Novak, but great to see the at the top of the scoring pylon.
Zach Novak just no luck, I think, in this series since he won the championship 2 seasons ago. But maybe a little bit of clean track might help him get a better finish as Novak will come down for service, or come from 59 coming to 60. So you figure if he's on a two-stop strategy, this is about when you want to pit just off the numbers.
I'm intrigued with those guys that pitted a little bit earlier, but I think for the most part, we may be back to a lot of drivers on 2 compared to some of those that were kind of flirting with 3 a little bit earlier. I think we still have a couple of drivers on the 2-ish per se, or you're trying to stretch it as far as you can, and Matt Busa trying to extend that as far as he can. He came a couple laps short, James, of halfway, but these drivers, these 3 drivers up in front, are the drivers that have stretched it the longest, including Zach Nichols, Brian Schoenberg, and then a little bit in behind Matt Busa.
And so this is the strategies rather cycling themselves through once again. We saw Nichols and Schoenberg out in front after the leaders came down pit road about 30 laps ago. Here we are, about the same point in this second pit cycle, and who's up at the front, Nichols and Schoenberg. So the question is, how long do they stay out? How far do they go? And maybe more importantly, since Busa is the only one that we know of that's trying to one-stop this race, how far does Busa get to go?
Yeah, so the 75 of Busa started or came down pit road at the start of 44. This 90-lap race, you do the math, he's maybe 1-2 laps short, and you got to think he's short on the other end of the stint too, or has to go long on the other end of the stint. So you do the math. If I was Matt Busa, I would try to be sucking up to everything that I can to get a little bit of a draft, but he's kind of running all by his lonesome right now. These drivers are not, including the 8 of Michael Conti, who just came off road along with his friends around him, Logan Clampett being another one of them. The 3 of Corey Vincent to the inside, Dylan Duvall a part of the battle, Chris Shearburn up the road just a little bit. These drivers are kind of seeing what they have now for this final run to the checkered flag. JP.
When it comes to Brian Schoenberg, one of the drivers trying to stretch it forward, they're talking about how there's an extended period for these drivers at the moment. 20 laps they are talking about is a lot of time where a lot can happen. In other words, they are hoping for a bit of luck for their strategy for Schoenberg and his camp.
I think JP hit the nail on the head. If something does happen, and we saw those packs that were battling for position, James, if something does go wrong, Brian Schoenberg and Nichols and Busa are probably in the driver's seat.
So this isn't necessarily the group that I thought would be trying to play this, but they're the ones who would benefit from the yellow that we talked about earlier when we were first analyzing these strategies. There's about a 10-lap window, I think, that they've got to work with before their tanks run dry, and they have to come down pit road. But if they get a yellow now, they can stay out front, pit for the race lead, and at the end, you're still gaining net track position compared to where you started. So certainly something to keep our eye on Nichols and Schoenberg if the yellow does come out.
We believe this will be the battle for the net lead when everything cycles on through. That is Bobby Zielinski, the 1 of Ashton Crowder and Mitchell DeYoung. But up in front, you can kind of see him off some of the pan shots, is the 32 of Keegan Leahy. He's about a second and a half or so. There he is right there on your screen in the 2311 car. He's ahead of this battle. This will be your net leader. He's in 4th behind those 3 cars that are stretching it out, and you see this stretching it out. There's a big lead back to the 83, and actually those cars, James, also have a little bit of a lead back to the next pack in behind them.
You've got Leahy on his own. You've got Zelensky, Crowder, and De Jong in a group. And then Vicente Salas at the very back of the screen. You got pretty much everybody. Garrett Lowe, Taylor Hurst, Bob Bryant, Ray Alfala and company. Big group back there. As we look back at Schoenberg and Nichols as the 47 has passed the 29 for the race lead.
Oh, and it's getting close right here. This might be the moment that they were looking for. Blade Witt on the outside, going backwards. Going to lose 2 more, maybe 1 more position. Blade Witt was up in the top 20, but James, I don't think after this exchange, he's going to be there for long.
That's a big group of cars in there. Logan Clambert, Femi Olat in there as we ride on board with Casey Kerwin driving his Ford Mustang down to the bottom. Oh, they nearly smacked the fence there. It's I feel like temperature's starting to rise in this race a little bit, Tim, no?
They kind of have to. You're getting down to the end of the race. You're getting down to the final 30 laps of competition, 27 laps to go. For most of these drivers, you kind of have the bed that you're laid in right now if this thing goes green the rest of the way. And if it doesn't, all heck kind of breaks loose. So you kind of have to be ready and prepared for either strategy. And these drivers here are trying to push their way towards the front. Get everything that they can as Dylan Duval goes to the inside of Blade Witt and tries to pick up 1 more. Great run by the 41 car.
41 car was near the front at the end of that most recent pit cycle when he came down pit road. And I think, again, that's what you're watching. If you have confidence in your strategy, you don't necessarily care about being right around 20th, which is where this group is now. You want to be near the front at the end of this, which with the fresh tires and the fresh rubber, these drivers should be able to make a charge through the field and gain a few more spots before all is said and done.
36 of Shearburn takes that look to the inside of the 14 of Witt. Vincent in behind him as well with the field coming by. Brian Schoenberg is back to the top of the scoring pylon as the field works around. You see Kane Cook right in behind as they see the 3 move to that inside, trying to pick up 1 more on Blade Witt. Witt is one of those drivers that we've seen earlier in this season, James, kind of stretch out the fuel on a couple of occasions, but hasn't had the runs that I think he's had the speed for, per se, trying to close the deal. But now he's got 3 wide in behind him. He's got to get going.
It's wild here. Look at the 15 machine of Kane Cook down to the bottom. He got a great run down the front straightaway. Goodness gracious, this is getting tough.
And speaking of a driver in this pack, let's ride on board with him. This is the Coca-Cola Onboard. It's with Corey Vincent. And the one thing I saw with that onboard, James, you kind of saw the 4 of Ryan Luza. We're used to seeing him up in front in some of these big races, and he hasn't really had the muscle, but he also's got a little bit of damage to the left rear of that race car as he tries to roll the top at a 3.
And especially with this package, any sort of damage around the corners of your race car is going to be significantly more of a factor when you're running, especially at a track like this where you've got such long straightaways, you're running high top speeds. It almost acts as a mini parachute on the corner of that car, and it will slow you down by a few miles an hour, especially on corner entry, which here at Pocono can mean a lot.
The 66 car of Reynolds tried to go 3 wide, almost 4 wide through that mess. That was almost a tense moment for some of those drivers as Reynolds still trying to make his way through that pack and catch up to his teammate Alan Bowes. And this isn't the first time the McLaren Shadow teammates have been together when we've looked at some of these eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing Series races, but it just seems like they are so close every time that we look. Either they're side by side, nose to tail, or maybe a couple of cars in between them, but they seem to shadow each other around the racetrack.
Did you really?
I did.
Did you really?
I did, yeah. But right now they're having a decent run trying to get through the pack. So, well, there's one more spot. John Gorlinski, I don't know where he was going. He was going to the other side of Pennsylvania. He's going to lose 1, 2, 3 more spots here and work his way back a little bit further. That was a corner I'm sure John Gorlinski probably wants back.
I thought I heard the tire screw almost like Gorlinski locked up on corner entry there. That could have been a lot worse than it was. But Gorlinski slides to the outside and they continue to go single file.
Matt Busa has company. That is Bobby Zielinski. That is Keegan Leahy and the rest of the field. So maybe one-stop strategy did not work as Mitchell DeYoung had to help up the racetrack in turn 3. And usually we look at the starting position, James, and say, hey, you know, if it's a net gain, it's a caution-free race, you know, it works out for the driver. Matt Busa started 4th, so anything is a gain for the 75.
And that's the question. He was so far back that it makes it tough for him to win this race unless he gets a yellow right about now that completely resets the field and allows everyone to come down pit road. And so now it's going to be a question of how far does Busa fall with the older tires, with clutching the throttle as he enters the corner, and how many spots will he lose and where will he finish relative to where he started, and whether or not the strategy ultimately was worth it.
We mentioned earlier about the patience with some of these drivers. I think it's starting to wear thin, and we've seen a couple of those instances in the last little bit where the patience might be starting to wear just a little bit thin as we look at a replay as to maybe the patience running a little short here for Crowder and DeYoung as they go down into the corner side by side. Looks fairly good right here, and then you're going to see right there trying to two drivers get the same piece of real estate, but a nice save by Mitchell DeYoung to keep that away from the wall and keep his number 23 still intact and running for a top 10 position. We've got 20 laps to go here from Pocono. It's been all green. We're going to step away for just a moment and bring you back to the finish. You are watching the eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing Series.
This Coca-Cola Zero Sugar tastes mighty delicious.
Come on, buddy.
But
if you keep lying like this, you'll be a puppet forever.
It's the honest truth.
You're right. It's delicious.
I never lie.
I am a season no one saw coming. Not that it's a bad thing.
I'm ready.
I am something none of you expected. And each surprise leads to one heck of a summer. Because this year, to make the playoffs, you better win, or you're not in. And one thing is for sure this season, I am not certain what happens next. And neither are you. I am NASCAR.
We are under caution from Pocono. Coverage of tonight's race is brought to you by Coca-Cola, the official fan refreshment of eNASCAR, and by Asus, the official gaming hardware partner of the eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing Series. Tim Terry and James Pike here calling the action from Pocono, and James, we are under our first caution, and Keegan Leahy is all tore up in the 32.
Leahy is tore up. Looks like he and Ashton Crowder got into it over in turn 1. But remember how we talked about this may benefit Brian Schoenberg, Zach Nichols if we get a yellow? Where's that yellow? Convenient for them, no?
Brian Schoenberg paces the field. Let's take a look and see what brought out our first caution flag of the evening with less than 20 to go. And Ashton Crowder, did he get bumper hooked with the 30? Oh, 32 gets destroyed. Keegan Leahy and a couple of really hard hits there. But it just looked like Ashton Crowder kind of sailed it in and just kind of got that thing a bumper hooked.
It's tough to read here at Pocono because you've got so many different axes, so many different lines you could take through these corners. They're so wide that you could cross yourself up with somebody else, and where someone else might be laying off the throttle, rolling back into the gas, you may be full throttle. Get the sense that might be what happened between Crowder and Leahy and what brought out the incident. But you ever want to talk about a money stop situation where this pit stop can make or break your race? Here it is. Let's see what Goldberg and Nichols and company can do.
Can Brian Schoenberg maintain the lead and potentially go for his first eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing Series win? The field, except for maybe one, I think, is down on pit road, and that may be a lap car, James, as there is the field coming down. We'll see who comes out on the other side with the lead on this one, as the 88 of Brad Davies stays out on the racetrack, and he is the free pass.
It's a free pass. It's a good drag race between Zelensky and the 29 of Zach Nichols down pit road. But where does Bobby Zelensky factor into all of this? He's ahead of all of them, and Zelensky is going to win the race off of pit road and jump out ahead of everybody.
And it is a traffic jam at the end of pit road, and Bobby Zelensky is going to come out with the lead, and he is going to have the track position. We're going to take one more look at this caution, James, and see what may have happened. There was definite contact. We're right on board with Ashton Crowder here and see if he gets into the bumper of the 32.
Going into the corner here, everybody just on it there, and tough to tell. Really tough to tell whether or not that was Keegan, whether or not that was Ashton. I wonder if we might be able to get their perspectives on that in just a few moments. But just a really, really tight quarters, and coming down to the end of the race, everybody's trying to race for positions.
Yeah, it's hard racing at the end, fighting for a top 10 position. And if you're Keegan Leahy, you've already got that win. You're sitting on top of the points picture. If you're Ashton Crowder, you're trying to get up there, get as many points as you can, and potentially fight your way to a victory and put your ticket into the playoffs and work your way up the point standings. So two drivers, when it comes to agenda-wise, James, on the opposite ends of the spectrum, at least at this point. Keegan Leahy has a tore-up race car. That thing, it's still drivable, but it's not pretty. Let's put it that way.
This is not going to be the kind of finish that Leahy wanted, or the kind of finish I think he would argue deserved after being up near top 5, top 10 all night long. It'll be a tough one to swallow for Keegan, but he'll have a chance to get back after it in the not-too-distant future, try and make it back up.
We'll see if we can chat with Keegan Leahy. Keegan, that car does not look pretty. What happened?
I'm not sure where to place my hands because my wheels turned about 120 degrees to the right. I don't know. I got to look back at it. I just took the corner like I always do. I didn't make a mistake or anything. I just got ran into. So it is what it is. Luckily, there's a drop week, so this will be my drop. I've been meaning to use it. So I think my worst finish besides this one was 17th. So, this happens sometimes. I've been fortunate enough to not have this issue yet this year, but sometimes you get run into.
Well, the rear is trying to pass the front, so go get what you can. That's Keegan Leahy. We'll quickly chat with Ashton Crowder. Ashton, what did you see?
First off, I want to say really sorry to Keegan. I've been chattering through the bumps the whole night, and as soon as the splitter gets on the bumps, you can't stop, and I was basically locked up in the fronts trying to stop, and I hit him, and I just feel really bad about that. I wish I could make it up to him, but he's got a wrecked race car, and I don't, so I was really sorry to him. We're about to go green, though, but I appreciate this opportunity, and thank you to everybody who's supported me, Nutrien Ag Solutions, everybody at the team. We're coming down to crunch time here, but thank you, Tim. I appreciate that.
Go get what you can. That's Ashton Crowder, driver of the number 1. He'll restart on the outside of row number 3 in position number 6. We'll come down to 15 laps to go at Pocono. Pace car is in, and Bobby Zelensky is on the hammer. Green flag flies. We are back underway. And now the question is, James, what does Brian Schoenberg have for the field?
And just how good is that 47 Chevy Camaro for JTT Tornado Racing as they are 3 wide already into the first turn on the restart.
3 wide up the hill, Crowder on the outside, Salas in the middle, 3 wide behind them, 3 wide throughout the pack. Pick your poison. Here comes Matt Boosett to the inside, looking to pick up one more. Where do you watch here?
And can they get down to 2? 3 usually doesn't work going into the tunnel turn, but at least for the moment, everybody okay as Zelensky continues to pace this bunch, and they just about bounce off of each other. Did Salas in the 24.
Bobby had that thing sideways in turn 2. He's not wasting anything up in front. He's trying to get away from this mess. 3 wide, 3 wide, 3 wide, 2 wide, 3 wide. They're stacked about 8 deep, 3 wide, 55 up the hill, Femiola to the inside. There's Ashton Crowder running in position number 3. These top 5 are good. Everybody else is on top of each other.
Zach Nichols just got freight trained down the inside of the front straightaway, but charging back on the inside of turn 1 as we look a little bit further back here. You've got one of the Mode Motorsports machines, Matt Busa middle, who was on that one-stop strategy now, right in the middle of this.
Yeah, it's 2 and 3 wide. It's a gridlock at about 200 miles an hour or so. As they go down into the corner, there's almost 4 wide. Jimmy Mullis is stuck in the middle. Michael Guest is a part of this battle. Kane Cook just ahead of it. We talked about Zach Novak earlier leading laps. He's mired in the middle of this with his teammate Jimmy Mullis trying to get to the front. It's feeding time. The window's about to open. 14 laps to go. Boys, you got to get to the front.
Somehow they've kept it off of each other, even the back of the field where you've got cars sideways down the front straightaway. Somebody spinning there in the back. We'll see whether or not things get a little bit too crazy and they do yellow flag out on the racetrack. And we almost had it cleared, and now it's going to be a little bit wild.
And that was your free pass recipient on the last caution. That's Brad Davies in the 88. And yeah, you hit the nail on the head, James. They had it saved, and then they didn't. There was a couple of cars that probably should have been involved and probably parked down there where Brad Davies was, but after it's been an up and down night for Brad Davies, ran up front, got the free pass, got caught behind, and now he's looking a little worse for wear.
Significant amount of damage to his machine. I think Garrett Maines get caught up in this too for Elliott Sadler Esports. See if the replay here in a few moments tells the tale of this, but heavy damage to the front end of the 88. He doesn't look like he's going to be much better off than Keegan Leahy.
Let's take a look here through this mess. That's Brad Davies you're riding along with. He's already sideways at this point, and in front of him, 2, 3 wide, and something is bound to happen here. Somebody's bound to make a mistake, and there it is. Sees part, and maybe not.
Wonder if that, I think there was one car there that I saw go to the right and almost head on into the fence. Was that maybe Corey Vincent in the 3 that was the other car involved in this?
I think it was. The 2 of Garrett Maines was kind of sideways through that, and you look at that replay, it almost looked like Brad was going to have that thing cleared, and might have got a little bit of a tap from the rear, but had some issues in front of him out the windshield. So a tough break for the driver of the number 88, Brad Davies. It's been an up and down night for that JRM team.
So now for everybody else that's here, do you come down pit road? Is it worth it if you've got maybe 5 or 6 laps in your tires, maybe?
Potentially, but let's see if we can dial up Brad Davies. Brad, it almost looked like you had that cleared. What did you see coming through that?
I mean, not a whole lot, just some smoke, cars going every which way, cars, going to the right, going to the left, cars bouncing off the inside wall, coming back across the track right in front of me. That's kind of how we got caught up in it. That's pretty much all I can remember.
You had a really strong race car, ran up front, got that free pass, looked like you were coming to the front. But what do you guys got to do to buy a break here in this series?
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't had such bad luck in a season, I don't think, my entire career. I mean, there's deja vu. We had the same thing happen to us at Charlotte where we had a bogus black flag and had to run by ourselves a lap down the whole race. Finally got the lap back towards the end of the race, and then the whole field crashes in front of us, and we have nowhere to go. So it's kind of comical at this point that the same thing keeps happening over and over again. But, what are you going to do?
Well, the good news is that there's only 10 laps left, then we move to Road America. Go get what you can in the last 10 here.
All right, thanks.
That's Brad Davies, driver of the number 88. The 75 of Matt Busa comes down into pit road, and we believe new tires still left on that race car, so he'll win the race off of pit road by the looks of it, besides Keegan Leahy, I think that was the end.
Leahy get the damage fixed on his car. I saw a few others come down pit road that time, but I believe Michael Conti might have also come to pit road, as we'll take another look at this incident and see what happened from atop the car.
So there's the 3 and the 2. The 2 of Garrett Maines, the 3 of Corey Vincent. Malik Ray, what a save in the 11. And here's Brad Davies, nowhere to go, but into the side and then up into Derek Justice. Derek was running in the top 10 earlier this evening. He's going to have a little bit of damage to massage out of that race car, but eventually, with these guys going as hard as they are, 2 and 3 wide, something was bound to happen, and we just saw it play out there.
Really nice work there from Chris Shearburn in the back to slow down and make sure that he didn't get in any of that mess and keep that car relatively clean. But yeah, just looking at it here, looking at timing and scoring from what I can see, looks like about the last maybe 10, 11 cars in this field came down for service. Conti to me is the standout, but John Gorlinski came in and got service. Logan Clampett got some service, as did Derek Justice. Looks like Malik Ray might have come down too. Some big names at the back who are trying to make use of, maybe 6 or 7 lap fresher tires to try and get around folk.
We'll see if we can chat with Corey Vincent. Corey, what did you see out of the windshield? What did you feel?
Yeah, I don't know. It was hard to tell what happened there. I think it was like 3 of us bunched together, and we came out of 3, and looked like we all kind of swerved like down and up, and I got hit in the left rear, and it turned me into Malik, I believe, and then that sent me back into the wall. And luckily, we were able to save it and keep it straight, but we got a lot of damage, so it's unfortunate.
I was about to ask how much damage you have. You just answered the question, though. Go get what you can here in these remaining 10 laps.
Thank you.
That's Corey Vincent, driver of the number 3, and James Tough Break. He's another one of those drivers. We talk about Brad Davies. Corey looking to get up there. He's in that area that if for some reason we don't have 10 winners in 10 races that are eligible, he would currently be that driver that would work his way in on points along with Michael Guest. So that's not going to help his effort here this evening to A, get points, or B, get a win.
It's just going to make it a little bit more hairy, especially if you don't have a win. But then again, that's the whole point of this current point system that we use in the eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing series. Go out and force drivers to try and get victories, try and get checkered flags instead of the more consistent finishes. Winning means everything in this series.
Bobby Zielinski is one of those drivers that we would anticipate to win at a road course. Road America is coming up next week. He is looking to get that win a little bit early. Brian Schoenberg has never won in this series. He's looking to pick up that first victory. Ashton Crowder looking for the first win of the season. Garrett Lowe is looking to end that winless drought. And then Mitchell DeYoung was a winner at Coda. What happens here? 9 to go. Green flag is back out at Pocono.
Everybody already 2, 3, 4 wide. Look at Schoenberg blocking Lowe, who in turn tries to lock out Fowler as they go 3. Look at Ashton Crowder jump to the outside to get around the 47 into 1.
2 and 3 wide as they continue to work around, and Schoenberg is stuck in the middle. Where did Ray Alfala come from? 51 up on the outside, looking to pick up one more, and Brian's not going to cut him any slack.
All over the place back here, looking at this big shot. Look at Jimmy Mullis to the middle and to the outside of his teammate, trying to gain some spots. And right around the exit machines, as Mullis gets a tap there from the 38 of Casey Kerwin.
They're trying to clear each other back there and not be that next caution flag, and they are doing some close quarter racing. 2, 3, we saw 4 wide. Do we see 5 in this pack before this is all said and done? A couple of cars crossed over, they stay straight, and we remain green. But what fantastic racing we're seeing here off these restarts.
Mullis down to the bottom again. Everybody going 2 wide into this one. They'll fan to 3 in turn 1. Back down to maybe 2 wide as they come out of 1 into 2, and still not really much settled between this. The 75 goes around. That's Matt Busa.
Oh, what a heartbreak for the 75 after trying to get the pit strategy and the fuel strategy done. It ends in it might not end in heartbreak. There's a little bit of damage, it looks like, James, to the left rear of the Motorsports number 75, but at least at this vantage point, it looks clean, but I'm sure Matt's not very happy behind the wheel.
I wonder if he got help. The replay will probably tell. Oh, let's see what went down with the 75 machine as they come out of the corner. It looks like the 75 is going to come up, and there's the answer. Yep, a little bit of contact with Jake Nichols to the 24 and gets Busa loose, and at that point, not much you can do. Locks it down, tries to save it, but into the inside fence on the long pong straight goes the man from Mode Motorsports.
Those two are teammates. I don't know what the Wednesday team meeting with Kyle is going to be like, but that's probably going to be discussed, I would say, James, by the end of that. But tough break for those drivers, obviously on 2 different agendas, pit strategy-wise here this evening. They come together, and now they're not going to have a whole lot of time to get back what's left They'll probably have 5, maybe 4 laps to go when we go back to green, so they are going to have to hustle for probably, at least in Matt Busa's case, the back of the field.
I think it means we're just going to see an even crazier restart than we saw before. If the last 2 have been any indication, it'll immediately go to 3 or 4 wide, perhaps.
If you like what you see, we've got some more racing action coming at you on the eNASCAR side. Beginning tomorrow, it's a short series. It's the International Series. You get to see your favorite stars from the NASCAR Euro Series, the NASCAR Pinty Series, and the like go at it and put on a show beginning at Brands Hatch. It's tomorrow, June 23rd, 6 p.m. Eastern. You can follow along at enascar.com/live. James, I'm Canadian. I'm excited to see the NASCAR Pinty Series drivers go at it, but let's talk to Matt Busa. Matt, it's a heartbreak after running up front with that strategy. What happened there with you and your teammate?
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure. I'll have to take a look at the replay, but I thought we were too wide, and I think Blade Witt might have stuck it in above Jake at the last second to make it 3 wide. And I'm just glad I was able to pull the car down to inside and not wreck anybody else right there.
It looked like you got away with a little bit of damage. Is there any damage to that race car? And what do you expect out of 4 or 5 laps left?
Yeah, it shows we got about 15 seconds optional damage here, so car should be fine, but we're too far back in the pack. That's why I did the crazy or bold strategy early on, just because all that matters right now is winning to make the playoffs. So becoming second, 40th, doesn't really matter if it's not a win.
We'll go get what you can here in these remaining few laps.
Thank you. Hope it's a good show.
Matt Busa in the number 75, and we always know that Matt's going to put on a show, and especially when he comes from the back in the remaining handful of laps, James, that we have left. He mentioned it. With the win and you're in, 40th place may as well be second when it comes to all of these drivers that are winning races and are finishing, are getting those top 10 efforts, top 20 efforts to lock themselves into the playoffs.
You could say that for Matt Busa. You could also say the same point, I think, here for Ashton Crowder and some of the folks in the back end of the point standings as well.
We'll talk to Bobby Zielinski, and Bobby, obviously next week is going to be big, but we got to get through this first. You are leading this race. How big of a relief would it be to finish this one off and punch your ticket here?
I mean, you know that answer. It'd be great. It'd be awesome to win here. I mean, I love the triangle, so. But yeah, this year's so crazy with the win and year and stuff. Like, I've always just kind of easily pointed my way into the playoffs. This year's a little different, not doing that good, but we're going to try to get some good restarts here. The draft is nuts, as you all have seen, and I'm having fun. This is a good time.
They've been crazy, but they've been crazy for the most part behind you. What do you got to do on this restart to hold the rest of the field off without giving us all the secrets?
Yeah, I just need to get a good restart here again. Like, I haven't got the best restarts, honestly, but they worked out. I'm obviously worried about second place getting a massive run on me. Ashton's raced me pretty good today, but he obviously wants to win. Mitchell wants to win, and Zach, Nick. Like, you got so many guys behind me that are hungry. So I'm hungry. I'm hungrier than them. Screw them all. I'm gonna beat them. So see how we do.
Well, let's see what you can do. We wish you all the best. Go get him here on this restart.
Hell yeah.
That's Bobby Zielinski, driver of the Virtual Racing School, Latardi Sports, number 83, running in position number 1. We'll have 4 laps remaining, James. Does Bobby Zielinski have enough to hold him off, or are we going to see somebody else go to victory lane?
I think Bobby hit the nail on the head. It's all going to be about the restart and what kind of runs the drivers behind him can get once they stretch out single file. And then, of course, there's also the possibility that we get another yellow to force us into a green-white checker situation. Do you want more information on this eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing series, including scheduled point standings and how to become a driver in all of this? You can log on to iRacing.com/eNASCAR today to get all the information that you need on the eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing series. And for more information on how to start your iRacing career, log on to iRacing.com today to find out who you can get on the service. 40% off for new members for a limited time.
Ooh, I like myself a good deal. If you do too, head over and check that out at iRacing.com. And this field is bunched up in behind the pace car. Let's get ready for something that's going to be wild. This is going to be exciting. Take a look at the back of this field when they do go green, you're going to have 40 drivers going for that win and 39 going for what Bobby Zalinski has. Green flag, it's a great start, James, but Mitchell DeYoung was on it.
Mitchell DeYoung was on it. Ashton Crowder was not already 4-5 wide just about going into turn one. Can hold it there. Can they be all right going in his first turn and not get into each other? The answer, at least for the moment, is yes. Look at Vicente Salas using high line to gain positions.
Dylan Duvall gives a little punch to the 77 of Bob Bryan as he works his way through. Steven Wilson in the middle, 3 wide, as they continue to work their way through. Top 3 are single file. Everybody else is bouncing off walls, bouncing off cars, trying to get to where Bobby Zalinski is.
It's 3, it's now 4. There goes Ashton Crowder. He's clear of the mess, so it's now all about Bob Bryan. But yellow flag out, once again, incident further back, and it's the 24 machine of Jake Nichols, Motorsports, that's around on his way to turn 3.
The 24, it hasn't been a good 5 or 6 laps for the Mode Motorsports teammates as Nichols gets turned around in this one. And we will go to a little bit of eNASCAR overtime for the finish of this race at Pocono Raceway. But what a start by Bobby Zalinski. What a start by Mitchell DeYoung to put himself into second. And I think these two are going to put on a battle before this thing is all said and done, because Mitchell wants win number 2.
Mitchell certainly wouldn't win number 2, rather. We'll see the replay, find out what happened to the number 24 machine, and just a byproduct of racing here in the middle of this pack. So many cars around you. Somebody was bound to go down, and it was Nichols who got some help from the 16 machine of John Gorlinski from Wood Brothers Racing. Amazing work from everybody else in the back of this pack to not run over the 24, especially at a dangerous place on this racetrack like the exit of the tunnel. But it brings us under yellow. We will have a green-white checker finish to this race.
Yeah, one small little touch is all it takes, especially in the middle of the pack, is you have to anticipate what's going on in front of you, and 2 and 3 and potentially 4 cars ahead if you are 2, 3, and 4 wide. It's got to be nerve-wracking with this clean air, Bobby Zalinski, Mitchell DeYoung trying to battle for the win. And let's not discount the run for Ray Alfalla. With these last couple of restarts, he has worked his way up to position number 3. The 51 car in the last couple of weeks has been on a tear, and he has an opportunity to do it. Let's ride on board with Anthony Burrows, his first start in the eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing Series.
Get a pretty crazy view of all this as Burrows got a little sideways, just about lost it, sawing the wheel to the left to the right, and only just hung on to his number 44's Valvoline Chevrolet Camaro. Good work for the Klingerman Sport driver to maintain his car, keep it in one piece, and carry on.
See if we can catch up with Jake Nichols. Jake, it's been a wild last few laps. What did you see on that one there?
Yeah, I mean, definitely wild. You know, we've kind of played the strategy game all night, and we got lucky with a good caution there. Barely missed, I think it was Keegan sliding on the green flag run there when he got turned. But, man, I was hoping we could get some luck on the restarts, but it's so line sensitive. If there's any sort of checkup, you just lose so much momentum down the straights, and it just kept happening to us there, and we just kept getting put in the middle of 3 and 4 wide situations, which you never really want to be in. But when it's so clustered up like it is tonight, you just definitely don't want to be in the middle of it all. And we got in some contact with our mode teammate there, Busa, but now we've had a double whammy for both of our cars. Both got spun, but you know, we're gonna make the most out of it. Hopefully we can go green to the checkered here and on this green-white checkered and maybe make the most out of it.
eNASCAR overtime, go get what you can.
Will do, thank you.
That's Jake Nichols, driver of the number 24, and it's he kind of alluded to it there, James. It's been an up and down night for Mode Motorsports, and only a couple laps left to see what they can get out of the Pocono Raceway in round number 10.
Tough breaks, I think, all around for them. They'll have wanted more out of this race. It might not be the best of finishes for them, but they get the chance to try and make it up at Road America in the not-too-distant future. But the thing I notice here, looking at these drivers towards the front, and in particular, you mentioned him just a little bit ago, but Ray Alfalla in the 51 machine. Remember, you've got to be in the top 20 for your wins to lock you in to playoffs. And Ray came into tonight well outside the top 20. So even if it isn't necessarily a victory, a good finish like this, currently running third, if he can hang on to that, that would be huge for him and everybody behind that Rowdy Energy Toyota Camry.
I'm not a race car driver, and there's the live point standing on the side of the screen. I've never been a points racer. I've never been a racer, but I think, James, the logical sense is easiest way to gain points is to win races. So if you're Ray Alfalla, A, I want to win a race. B, I know that Bobby Zielinski hasn't won a race this year. I want to stop that. And C, I know Mitchell DeYoung has won one race. I want to stop him from getting two so he doesn't vault himself in playoffs, because Mitchell's closer to the bottom of those drivers that currently are in the top 20 that have the win. So if I'm Ray Alfalla, it might be the wild card here is have green-white checkered attempt number 1. And for those that are new to this eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing series, James, we have up to 3 attempts to get this thing finished under green.
The leader takes the white flag. Before the yellow flag comes out, the next flag will erase. Otherwise, we will rack and stack and shuffle everybody up and do it again if we get a yellow.
We're getting ready to go green. Tim Terry and James Pike along with you for the call of this one. This one is going to wild. It's been wild all night long. Long green flag run to start off this race. And now a couple of quick cautions, setting up a couple of quick sprints to the finish of round 10 of the eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing series from Pocono Raceway. Pace car is going to duck in this time by, and Bobby Zielinski in control. Mitchell DeYoung had a great restart the last time, James, but it was from position number 3, which is currently occupied by Ray Alfalla. Green flag in the air. We are back underway, and trying to get the wheels turning on the outside is Mitchell DeYoung, and they're kind of stacking up in behind him.
They fanned out a little bit later this time into turn 1, but it was a good push from Ashton Crowder to keep the 23 alongside the 83. And as they roll high towards the center of the corner, still going door to door. Here comes Ray Alfalla to the inside, though. He got a great run to the bottom.
We got a caution on the speedway, and it closed up really quickly around Kane Cook. John Gorlinski has got damage to the back end of that spin, number 16. And, well, we'll try it again, James. These guys up in front had it figured out, but when you get 3 and 4 wide at the back and you know there's only a lap and a half or a lap and 3/4 left, it's kind of difficult to make it happen and make it happen all at once.
It's tough to read. We'll get a look at the replay here, but I saw Kane Cook and Blake Reynolds come together on the entry to turn 1, and I think that's where this all starts. And then at that point, it's probably just restart calamity, because when you're so bunched up like this, there's so little that you can do to avoid anything. And everybody, of course, racing these last few laps, trying to get as many spots as they can. No surprise that we're in the yellow again.
We caught this one live. We're going to take a look at the replay here, though, and try to dissect this. They're 3 wide already at this point, ahead of Kane Cook. Conti gets sideways, but it happens in front of him. There's Kane Cook, there's John Gorlinski, Derek Justice, Jake Matheson, Burrows involved in this one. Malik Ray's backwards into the fence, and it's one of those deals where you kind of look and try to figure out where you want to watch, and we saw that play out, but it could have been multiple different wrecks. Some of them had it saved, James, and some of them just couldn't control those race cars, and we will have green-white checker attempt number 2.
It was almost like daisy chaining 2 or 3 wrecks together, and you make a good point. You can look to your inside, look to your outside, but again, there's so little room for error because you're just packed up on top of one another, especially with the way this package races. There's not a lot of margin of error, not a lot of room to escape incidents, and it just makes it really tough to avoid contact.
Let's check with John Gorlinski and see what he saw through all of that. John, car's pretty tore up on the back. What happened?
Oh, we're all trying to fit about 40 cars into, I guess under a blanket's the racing term for that. I don't even know what happened. I got ran in the fence by Connie, which I understand, it's all good. And I don't know what happened in front of that. There's a spinning car right in my face, and I piled in. Just par for the course of the season, and especially tonight, this is extremely difficult.
So my last question before I let you go, what was on the plate?
Say that again?
You got a plate behind you. What was on the plate?
Meatloaf. Leftovers.
Oh, it sounds good. Go get what you can here on this restart.
Yeah. Thank you.
That's John Gorlinski, driver of the 16. Let's see if we can't dial up the newcomer to this series. Making his first start in this eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing series is Anthony Burrows. Anthony, welcome to the series. It's not the welcome that you've wanted, I'm sure, but how's the first race been for you?
It's been pretty clean so far besides the last track. I mean, I've been having a lot of fun.
Not running quite how I was wanting to, but it's my debut, so only up from here, I guess. So yeah, just having a lot of fun with it.
How big was the pressure coming into this evening, running for Kligerman Sport and trying to get this 44 car another win?
Very big, especially filling in for someone like Isaac. He's been killing it this whole year. Yeah, wishing him the best. Hopefully he gets better soon. But yeah, definitely big shoes to fill tonight. But hopefully I'm doing a decent job.
Well, go get what you can on this final restart, and welcome to the series.
Appreciate it, guys.
That's Anthony Burrows, driver of the number 44. And James, it's always great to have new faces to the series. I'm going to date myself. You know, you think back to, the start of this series, you kind of saw some of those new drivers kind of work their way in middle to the end of the season. And now with the format that we do have, we don't see new drivers typically until the start of the next season. We are going to attempt green-white checkered number 2 here. But it's great to see some new faces in this series. So this is attempt number 2 of 3. We have to get back to the white. If we get back to the white, we race back to the checkered. And if we don't, we'll re-rack them and do it one more time. And speaking of racing, come on back tomorrow, 6 p.m. Eastern, June 23rd. We're racing Brands Hatch for the brand new eNASCAR International iRacing Series. You're going to see drivers from the Euro Series of NASCAR, the NASCAR Pinty Series, and see some familiar faces you're used to watching. And they're going to get at it in the Xfinity style cars, James, at Brands Hatch. Excited to watch this one tomorrow, June 23rd, 6 p.m. Eastern, eNASCAR.com/live.
That should be a fun one. I've had the pleasure of being able to make it out to Brands Hatch in person once in a time. And if you feel like the elevation changes are as wild as you would expect, yes, what you see in the sim is very accurate. It's a very, very hilly circuit, about an hour to the southeast of London. Should provide a lot of interesting challenges, especially in the Xfinity cars with all that power. And it's almost going to be slip sliding around some sort of like gigantic, almost water slide. Try and ease your way around that course. Won't be easy, but it'll be fun to watch.
We'll see what we can do here, though. We've seen some slipping and sliding here in these last couple of restarts, and the first green-white checker attempt. We'll see what the 83 of Bobby Zielinski can do here. See if Mitchell Dunn can get a better restart on attempt number 2. Ray Alfala runs in position number 3, trying to take his second win of the season. Pace car is off. Green-white checker attempt number 2 of eNASCAR overtime. Zielinski gets another great jump, but here comes the one of Ashton Crowder. Nose to the inside, 3 wide behind, and we're wrecking behind. We'll go one more attempt at this, and oh, that's big for Ryan Doucette.
Ryan Doucette goes around. Taylor Hurst was involved. Couldn't quite tell who that was down on the inside who went completely sideways, but there were at least 4 or 5 cars involved in this.
So we will go to a third and final attempt, and James, that's just what it is. If we see a caution on the third attempt, the race is over. They'll take the white under yellow, and then they'll come back and take the checkered flag. So this is the final attempt coming up for a green-white checker finish. So one more shot for guys like Mitchell DeYoung, Ralph Falla, Bob Bryan, and Ashton Crowder to get to Bobby Zielinski. And you have to credit Ashton Crowder for trying there, because he had that nose planted to the inside and he was going places on the last restart.
He did indeed. I also noticed that Mitchell DeYoung didn't quite get the push that he needed as we look at the stack up here in the middle of the pack, coming to the restart. Just to turn their bullets. I don't know whether or not he got help from Blade Witter, was just trying to get down and get some track position, but into the side of the 33 of Taylor Hurst he goes. Ryan Doucette has nowhere to go, and we're under yellow flag once again.
Yeah, it's a tough break for Taylor Hurst, and running so strong this season in a couple of races, just trying to get those finishes to really be indicative of where he has been and where he's had the speed. And Bobby Zielinski has to endure one more restart. This race was scheduled for 90 laps. We are currently working lap number 96. James, I don't think there's going to be any fuel concerns with the way that the caution flags came out, but as long as they packed it in full, we're going to see one more exciting restart to close off round number 10. And for Bobby Zielinski, he's kind of hoping this thing does what it's done the last couple of restarts and keep it green and get good launches to take away this victory.
don't think he would mind all that much as we turn our attention to the man behind the wheel of the 46, Jimmy Willis for Richmond Raceway Esports. And Jimmy, tough to see in a situation like that. What did you see out the front of your windshield in that incident?
I'll be honest with you. I've seen everybody start to go, so obviously I tried to, get a good restart, and then they stacked up, and I think I got in the back of Guest, and when that happened, I was afraid I was going to get run over. Kind of moved to the left a little bit, and I probably caused all that. I'm really not sure. I hate it. If that is the case, I hate that, I junked quite a few cars probably. That's not really what I was trying to do, obviously, because, it inevitably hurt my car too. So, yeah, I'm not sure. I'll have to take a look at it after the race, but, just hate that a situation like that happened for sure.
Well, Jimmy, thanks for your time, and we'll see what you can do in these last few laps. We'll see how Mullis gets along, Tim. But, yeah, really tough, I think, to see. And you heard it from him, just how tricky it can be when you're in the middle of a pack like that.
And see if we can't catch up with Taylor Hurst and see what he saw through all of this. Taylor, what was out of your windshield?
Oh, there was a bunch of cars in my windshield, and then I was looking the wrong way, so I really don't know what happened there. I'm going to have to take a look at it after the race, but, this Grizzly Chevy is running pretty good tonight. And, I figured it wouldn't last long. My luck isn't too good with this kind of racing, so I don't know. We'll see what we can get out of it here, though.
We'll get that Grizzly Bear a little bit upset. It's got to be now after that little bit of damage, so bring that thing as close as you can to the front in 2 laps.
Yeah, we're going to try, man. I appreciate it.
As Taylor Hurst in the number 33 looking for a good run, James, to back up the speed that they have had this season, and it's not going to happen here this evening. Lights are out atop the pace car. We will try this one more time. Just a reminder that this is the final attempt to finish this race under green. One more look at it. There are the 2 cars that we just talked to, or 2 drivers we just talked to. Keep an eye on the 66 right there. Oh, gets an airborne, and the 33 back out onto the racetrack of Hurst sideways. And right here, nowhere to go for the... Man, Corey Vincent has been around all of these. He hasn't had any luck.
Other thing I noticed in all that is that there was contact between Blade Witt and Jimmy Mullis. That's the missing piece that I had been looking for to figure out how that incident transpired. So that helps tell the tale of why that happened and how everybody came to go sideways and spinning it wide. Doucette and Hurst have dropped down the running order.
So one more time, the final green-white checker attempt of this race. We will take the green flag here. If the caution flag is displayed prior to the white flag, that will end the race. If they can get back to the white flag under green, they'll race it out to the finish of round number 10 of the eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing Series from Pocono. It is Bobby Zielinski looking for his first win of the series this season in the lead. You got Mitchell DeYoung on the outside. He won at COTA a couple of weeks ago. He's up to second. Ray Alfala's won at Charlotte, looking to gain some points. In third, Bob Bryant's won already this season. He's in fourth, and Ashton Crowder in position number 5. If we were in line for our first repeat winner of the season, this might be the best opportunity to get there, but they all have to beat Bobby Zielinski. Final attempt at a green-white checker finish. Barney's got the green in hand. We are back underway.
They're stacked up a little bit behind DeYoung and Ralph Fowler, so not really any pushes coming to the 83 or the 23. One more fan out into 1. Will they get through this time, or is it going to be the yellow that ends the race? That's the big question as they go 3 wide, down to 2 wide, down to 1 wide. Yellow flag is out, though.
And that is going to end the race. The field is frozen, and as long as Bobby Zielinski can come back under power in the last lap and a half, he will be your winner at Pocono. And look at the relief, I think, that Bobby has on his face. We are going to have our 10th different winner in as many races as long as he can come back and take the white and take the checkered under caution.
Almost unheard of. 10 different winners in 10 races, Tim Terry. Didn't Chris Overland say something about that on pre-race a few races ago? How he thought we were actually going to get here, and nobody believed him when he said it, and yet here we are. If Zielinski can make it around for one more lap, we're about to see that come true.
You just saw that. He had the one finger up. One more lap to finish this one. This race was scheduled for 90 laps. It is going to go in the books as a 101 lap race. James, I would have to believe this is the longest Pocono race that we've had in series history, because this race used to be 80 laps in length. We are going to see what happened to bring out the final caution flag of the evening. And we saw a glimpse of Kane Cook there as they're 3 and 4 wide, and Cook may have got into the back of Shearburn down into the 8 of Michael Conti. Derek Justice, I don't think, has a straight panel left on that race car at the end of it. He's been torn up in some of these wrecks, and man, oh man, what a finish. And Bobby Zalinski, as long as you can get it back here, you punched your ticket into the playoffs. How relieved are you now?
This is fantastic. I told you I was winning this, so yeah, I wasn't going to let that go. I was going to race pretty hard for that, but thankfully I had a friend up front with Mitchell. I've been friends with him for years, and we worked together, and there we go. It's official, baby. I got my bud right behind me. Yeah, it's great. You know, it's been a real pressure year, especially on the road courses with Mitchell, and we're gonna have a hell of a battle next week for you guys. Me and Mitchell, you for sure.
Okay, so the question is, and I don't want to think ahead too much, but it's 1 week away. Who's getting that first repeat win of the season? How hard are you going to drive your number 23 Mitchell DeYoung?
I was going to race him really hard at Coda, and then I got wrecked. So now we don't want to wreck each other because we do need points, but we're going to race each other hard. It's going to be awesome. Maybe we'll bump each other, maybe not. I don't really know what to expect. I honestly haven't put a lot of Road America testing in at all, and which is weird for me at a road course. But we'll give it our best and try to beat Mitchell. He ain't taking the crown that easy.
Well, the pressure is off. Congratulations. Go celebrate here next time by your winner once again in the eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing Series.
Thanks, man. It's great. Thanks, everybody at Virtual Racing School, Letard Esports. Man, this VRS gear, the wheel and pedals are amazing.
And the 83 of Bobby Zalinski will come by, gets the congratulations from the rest of this field. James, a winner once again, and a performance at the end. He was in the top 5 at the start of that race, was able to follow the JRM guys, was able to follow Nick Ottinger, and got there at the end, had the strategy played out, and finally is able to get to victory lane this season in 2021. 10 winners in 10 races. This winning moment is presented by Coca-Cola, the official fan refreshment of eNASCAR.
Zalinski just took advantage of that first restart. Once we got into the rash of them, he was able to drive up and take advantage of the fresh tires, get himself in position to control this race, and then you get to these final few restarts, and like he said, all it took was a few good restarts to get back on the gas, make sure he didn't have anybody alongside him, and at the end of the day, Zalinski, restart master, makes it happen.
A win for Bobby Zalinski, and the 10th winner in 10 races to punch their ticket potentially into the playoffs as long as they can all stay in the top 20. This is the Coca-Cola move of the race, and it is a restart one more time for Mr. Zalinski to hold on to this win.
Just get on the gas quick, get on the gas good, be sharp with it. That's Bobby Zalinski had to do, and then just wait for the gas to unfold behind him. But when you got somebody like the experience, or somebody with the experience that Bobby Zalinski has, not a huge surprise that he comes away with a victory and restarts. One of those things you end up getting a good feel for over the course of the years. And with the amount of laps Bobby's turned in this car just everywhere, good chance he was going to be up there front of the end.
I'm almost interested to kind of see if they would have had another straightaway or another corner if this guy would have been able to catch the driver of the 83, and that's Ray Alfalo. Ray, congratulations, another great run. But what else did you need besides green flag racing in those last couple of laps to get Bobby Zalinski?
Man, I was just worried about my internet. I was almost losing connection there at the end, and it was super stressful because the yellow kept coming out, and I would go in and out of connections. So that was really my biggest stress level was because of that. But yeah, that was a crazy race. We were kind of mired in the back. We pulled some strategy, worked for a little bit, then it didn't work, and then we kind of got to like the top 10, and the yellow came out, and we made a few moves. And then at the end there, I'm trying to not be too aggressive either because we really need to already have a win, so we're trying to playoffs, and so this is about as happy as I could be with rowdy energy. Good to see fellow VRS coach Bobby.
Well, it looks like the internet connection survived until at least the post-race interview. Ray, congratulations. We'll see you next week at Road America.
Thanks. See you guys.
That's Ray Alfalla backs up the win at Charlotte with a second-place finish here this evening, and we'll see if we can catch up with Mitchell DeYoung, who ran up front all night long, came home in third. And Mitchell, I know it's not a win. I know you wanted to become that first driver to win 2 races this season, but what does it feel like to come home with third place and get a little bit of a points cushion here to try to get yourself a little bit closer towards the top?
To be honest, this was a really fun race. It was so up and down. We did a pretty wild strategy. Honestly, I think I'm more stoked for Bobby to get that win than I am for winning Coda. I don't know why, but I'm just so stoked for him. But yeah, man, it feels so good just to finally have a good oval race. Obviously, I have high expectations for doing well on road courses, but the oval is still kind of new for me. Man, it feels so good. Just so up and down. I think before we got the yellow with 15 to go, I really thought that we were just going to kind of go to the back. We had a bit of damage and didn't really have lane choice or anything like that, but got some good positioning on the restarts and just kind of all worked out. And to be on the podium and share it with Bobby, that's really cool. So.
Now, all this teammate and friendship and whatever aside, he said that he was glad to have you alongside because he could trust to race with you for the win. But if we had that 2 laps full of green, were you going to give him a run for his money and try to steal away that victory?
Hey, we all want to win. Of course, as well, I'm not that high up in points as well. I still need to get as many points as I can. So, of course, I'm going to go for it if the opportunity presents itself. But, at the same time, also really happy to just have a clean race and snag a podium. Just great points, honestly.
Well, congratulations on the run. I'm glad to see you still have the purple light in the background, and we'll see you at Road America.
Thanks, Tim.
That's Mitchell DeYoung coming home in position number 3. We'll take a look at our full field results here from round number 10 of the eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing Series from Pocono, and it is led up by Bobby Zalinski, Ray Alfalla, Mitchell DeYoung. Ashton Crowder was making moves at the end, comes home to position number 4. Bob Ryan, Vicente Salas, Stephen Wilson, Zach Nichols, Garrett Lowe, and Brian Schoenberg, what might have been James in 10th place.
A lot of drivers here through 11th through 20th that needed good runs and got them. Dylan Duvall, Femi Olet, Zach Novak. We talked about the bad luck he's had as of late. Alan Bose there as well. Graham Boland, Casey Kerwin, Michael Guest with runs that'll continue their decent momentum. Maybe not quite what they wanted. And then Blake Reynolds and Jimmy Olds and Blade Witt to complete the top 20.
21st is Garrett Maines, Matt Busa, Ryan Luza, Kane Cook, Nathan Lyon, Jake Nichols comes home to 26 after a rough last couple of green-white checkers. Brad Davies, same song, different verse. John Gorlinski, Taylor Hurst, and Jake Matheson to 30th.
A lot of these drivers caught up in the late race yellows. Anthony Burrows, Michael Conti, Keegan Leahy was part of the yellow that started the flurry at the end. Derek Justice, Chris Shearburn in there, and then everybody in the back just struggling, caught in wrecks early. Tough nights for them.
And our next race comes up in 1 week time. We're going to turn left and right one more time. We head to Road America. We saw the battle that was about to brew at Coda between Mitchell DeYoung and Bobby Zalinski. Mitchell getting the upper hand in that battle. We'll see who comes out on top. What a great show. Thank you to James Pike for joining me here this evening. For Evan Pasoko, the whole production crew here at iRacing, we want to congratulate Bobby Zalinski on his first win of the season in the eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing Series. Until next week, my name is Tim Terry. Keep the hammer down, and we'll see you at the track.